I asked you would you like to
I don't
like I
need
said,
to
I
pivot.
asked you would you like a logic. I asked you would you like to debate it? I told everybody that I'm down for that. You want to debate Dr. Francis Cress
I told you
Welsing?
I agreed with you.
Why?
I
No.
agree that it's a racialized term. I agreed with you.
Okay. Then the conversation is over.
So I'm trying to figure out like what were you getting at? Like maybe if I did say it wrong, like just say
I
how
just
I
told
should
you
have said
if
it.
you just agreed with me, that's what I
Yeah,
was getting at.
I understand that when you say sub-Saharan Africa, that there's no way around that you're ultimately going to be talking about. You're going to be talking about either the people themselves or the descendants of those people with dark skin in that area. That's how I understand it. Maybe that's oversimplified, and you can explain it. But
And
I
it's
didn't
really
run
and
from
it's
nothing I
really
said. I
and it's really
didn't.
stupid. It's really stupid to call anybody sub-Saharan anyway, because 75% of the Sahara Desert covers North Africa.
I mean that's fine. But when
So
you pull up articles,
are
isn't
we
that a
saying
term
at the
that you
beginning
use?
of the northern border? Here, listen to my explanation here. Are we saying at the beginning of the northern border of the Sahara Desert, as you go down, that's considered sub-Saharan? Are you saying that anything past that border at the southern tip of the Sahara Desert is in fact sub? What does the sub mean? Because there are countries within Africa that live inside of the Sahara. Are they Saharan Africans phenotypically? What about South Africans? Whites don't call themselves sub-Saharan Africans that live below that line. It wasn't until after apartheid that they began to call the Africans in that area. They went from being called Bantu people or South Africans to, I'm sorry, not Bantu people. They went from being called South Africans or Africans to now sub-Saharan Africans. Whites don't call themselves sub-Saharan Africans. They live below the border. So it's just racially, it's a racially motivated term that we need to eliminate from our what's it called, from our vernacular, period. Because when you look at it geographically, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
It's just that simple.
I didn't make up the
You're
term.
welcome.
I mean, you read the term when you read articles. It's not. I didn't make it up. You got to get them to
They
stop
didn't
doing it,
call
not me.
themselves. Guess what? They didn't. They don't. Just like y'all say about Egyptians, they don't call themselves black. They don't call themselves sub-Saharan.
I like
So
it. You
you
should run
shouldn't
with that.
say it either.
Yeah, you should run with that. I like it. And I'll say whatever I want to. And for real, I'm reading it off the page, so it ain't even really me saying it. I'm just reading.
Well, at least you're doing that for once.
There you go. Good catch, Chris. You caught me.
That was some slick shit. He said, "At least you're doing that for once."
Oh,
Hey, I'll
very
try to set
clever.
up that. I'll try to
I'm
set up
almost
that
surprised it came
conversation.
from Chris.
I'll try to set up that conversation, Chris. I know you're at
Well,
work.
I'll say
Hey,
this: whenever you're ready to set up that debate, I'll wash you and
are
I'll
you
embarrass
Yeah,
you
against?
in that
but
debate,
Hey,
and
Chris,
I
show
wouldn't
you
even
that you're not on my
I
level, young
wouldn't
man.
complain, bro. I'm like a regular person. I'm trying to have a regular conversation with you. Like I wouldn't argue
I'm not a
something that
regular
I just
person.
disagree. I
I'm
see.
special.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. But I'm saying like I wouldn't like if I'm sitting here telling you I don't disagree with you. Like how can we turn that into an argument? I don't see how we can do it. I said I agree with you. Yeah, like I said, I understand the racialized undertones of the term. I get it.
Right, well, I got to get ready to get out of here.
all
Thanks
right, peace,
for
G.
letting me
Talk to you
on.
later.
I'll come back to you. Peace, y'all.
Yep.
Peace, peace, peace. Peace, brass.
Yes, sir. Shouts to you, C. Dot. What's up? Um, Corey. About it, yeah. Also, logic too. If you wanted to debate, I don't know if you said you wanted to debate him that day, but
Mhm.
apparently, I mean, maybe he wants to debate you. I don't know, or you want to debate. I don't know, but I think did you agree to a debate that day, or you say it was cool to debate that day?
I said I would debate him. We didn't necessarily pick a topic. I think he's trying to railroad into a topic that I didn't pick. But
No, that's
that's what it
fine.
seems like.
Yeah,
In,
shouts
in,
to
the,
him.
in the
I just went to his
yeah, I
channel.
mean,
I didn't follow him. I just remember he was the guy with the That's why I said that because when he said Wang, I remember somebody in the community put her in like Chinese food container or some shit like that. And then he said that was him. That's why I said the microwave guy. I didn't mean no disrespect, bro.
The short of what he just came in here and did was he gave both sides of an argument. You can read articles saying that that Sub-Saharan has some racial and political undertones. Like that's not.
Mhm.
I don't know what he was
No,
trying
I
to do
think
just now.
what he was doing was it's probably a term that kind of irritates him because he kept saying people on the continent don't say it. So it's probably a term that actually irritates. If you listen to what he's saying, you can kind of get the gist. He might be confusing us with the pseudo killers because he kept saying
He might be.
you guys are the scientific literacy guys, and I know I stay at Howard Johnson's from time to time, but I never wake up feeling scientifically literate. But I think that term irritates him, and he probably when you said it, he probably stuck on that term. That term, not because of you per se, but because the term is irritating. Because he kept, it seemed like
No,
it's and if it is
I
racist,
think I get it.
I don't know what that. I don't know how it's racist or if it is racist. I just know
No, it is. It definitely
I've
is.
heard other people say that. So probably
Yeah,
not.
it definitely is. And you know what?
Topic.
And while we're actually on the topic, right? And shout out to Chris. We just got to find a better topic, one that we actually disagree on. Like the irony of it is right. Like so, once you've made this particular category, then every time that you go and do like these genome sequences, you could say who is and who is not African. You know what I'm saying? It's almost a way of attempting to create a barrier genetically, right? So now you have to. So now when you go sequence the genomes of the mummies, you can say that they're this percentage of African and this percentage of non-African because of this kind of label that they. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like a way some people choose to look at it, but that would be them kind of leaning into the racialized political side of the term. I hope I explain that clearly, but yeah, he's absolutely right. It is racialized. So I didn't disagree.
Okay, Greg. Hey, Corey, I set this room up for you, so go ahead, brother. I know you out there building America, but I set the room up so you could get your shit out the way it hits. I hope you're feeling better. Welcome to the Discord. C. Mika, what up?
What's going on, people? What's going on? How y'all feeling?
What's going on, G? I said I'm gonna check out your show. I just follow Chris Harris, and I see you got a show, so I'll check that out. I'm about to leave out from somewhere on the drive. I'm gonna check it out while I'm on the road.
Yeah. Hey, Logic, I think he was saying, like, he was contradicting himself because he was like, well, you can't refer to Africans through a geographical location. But, I mean, isn't the word Africa a
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that, Corey. Honestly, I wanted Chris to say what he had to say and then go to work because I could tell like if I get frustrated, I don't know what I'm gonna say right now. Like I ain't gonna lie. So I'm glad it ended where it ended, and I didn't want to make it more confrontational because he was bringing confrontation. Like I didn't feel a spirit of let's just talk. I felt confrontation. So from there, I'm already like I'm jumpy for no reason. So it's all good.
And then you got a lot of times you gotta kind of know who you're talking to too, right? So, and then you gotta know kind of how these conversations go, also. So, like the
Where did
whole
the idea come from?
the idea of what?
Like that black people were just sub-Saharan. Like black people only came from the sub-Saharan part of Africa.
Well, I mean,
oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, it's just referring. Now, again, they're not saying this is what the terms in a lot of these papers still use today. I mean, it's just saying outside of the Sahara. Sub means below or outside, right? So like a submarine, right?
Right,
meaning submerged. The word
so would that
submerged,
mean that?
you know what I mean?
So
it means
would that
below
mean
the
that
Sahara.
black people weren't? Okay, got you. But would that mean that black people weren't in the Sahara or above the Sahara
No, it don't
at
mean
any
that.
point in time?
It don't mean that, right? But so what they're saying is you'll find this genetic pool or ancestral population, you'll find this ancestral population below the Sahara. That's all that's
And
saying.
okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
it don't mean that they wasn't other places also,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So when
okay,
you see certain groups in North Africa, they or in somewhere or say in North America, right? We in North America, right? And when
right,
they do our DNA, they see that we're closely, aligned to people who are from Sub-Saharan Africa. Then when you do the history, you find out, yeah, we do come from that region of the world. You dig what I'm saying? Don't mean that we're not in North America also, but
what?
ancestrally, this is where this population comes from. You dig what I'm saying? So wherever you find this population of people on the planet at, you know what I mean?
This is their
This is
origin.
their
Right.
ancestry. This is
Okay,
their ancestral homeland. Don't
but
mean
doesn't
that they
that?
can't
But
be in North Africa. Don't mean that they can't be in Asia. But this is where they originally from.
right,
Y'all get
Right.
that?
but
Like
okay,
it's not
okay.
a big
With
deal.
that said, are you? I mean, are you aware of the out of Africa theory? Like, do you believe that all human beings came out of Africa?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so if all human beings came out of Africa, then why would we only place the black people in the lower part of Africa and not throughout the entire continent? Wouldn't it make sense for them to be from the whole continent? Like, because black
No,
people never just
no,
stayed in one
no,
spot, right?
no. Yeah, right? So ancestral populations come from specific places, right? So how could you have an ancestral population that comes from everywhere? That wouldn't even make sense. You feel me? There has to be a starting point for each ancestral population. You can't say an ancestral population come from the whole of Africa.
Okay, so
You know what I
that's
mean?
a
That
scientific
makes
theory.
sense. Huh?
And then
That's
to really boil it down, you're talking about genetic mutation, right? So that's that. So where is the latest we can or the earliest we can find this specific genetic mutation, right? And then you go and find a location where you can find that at. That's all that is. I mean, it really ain't that difficult to tell you the truth. I mean, you don't even have to be scientific to actually realize that. But y'all go ahead, y'all
Well,
keep
no, no,
going.
no. I'm just saying, as far as that being a science, the out of Africa theory is a scientific theory. So, like,
And
that's what I'm saying.
sub-Saharan
Like,
Africans
if
do not contradict the outer Africa theory. So do you believe in the outer Africa theory?
I believe that it's a theory. I believe that people studied it. But what I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
is, I don't
I'm
believe
going.
that.
I'm going on
I
mute.
don't
I'm
believe
going
that.
on mute.
Okay, got you. Well,
Go ahead,
all I'm
finish.
saying is, I don't believe that black people were restricted to just below the Sahara
We
Desert.
wasn't. No, we wasn't though.
So,
That's the
They done
point.
said
so
that a
But
million
that's
times.
where
Like
our
Stephen said that
ancestral
that's the
population
fifth
come
time
from.
saying that. That's like
mhm,
Stephen's 10th time saying that within the last
mhm.
3 minutes. But go ahead.
Right. So why do you guys refer or use the terminology sub-Saharan when describing black people?
Because that's where the ancestral population come from. So when you talk about Chinese, they
But did
will
they
be
stay
called
there?
Hold on. If you talk about Chinese people, they will be considered East Asian, right? East Asian, meaning that their ancestral population comes from East Asia. I don't hear nobody else screaming and crying over that. When you talk about North Africans, they say that their ancestral population comes from North Africa. I'm trying to figure out what's the issue with pinpointing where ancestral populations come from.
Because you're still trying to would still make it seem as if they only came from one place. And what I'm saying is
They did, but
what I'm
they
trying to relay
did
right
though.
now. Can I
But
express what
but
I'm
they
trying to
did
relay
though.
so that way you have a better understanding? Because we've always been nomadic people as Africans. whether you came from the southern part, the eastern part, the western part, the northern part. We've always been a people who could get up,
Ancestral
travel, and
population is
create
not
other.
nomadic, bro. That was not a true statement. All the ancestral populations are not nomadic.
I didn't say all. I never said all.
Or at least
I'm just talking
sub-Saharan.
about black people in general. All sub-Saharan, all so-called quote-unquote sub-Saharan black people have not been settled in one spot and only stayed there the entire time of its existence.
We already said
So,
that.
Okay, so why do we keep talking like they never moved? Like it was no possible way that they could have made it above the Sahara. Why would that be the attitude? I don't. That's the argument right now. Why would you keep trying to make it the attitude that black people were only able to survive below
not
the
all
Sahara?
black people. Certain groups didn't.
So why accept the terminology of sub-Saharan?
Certain ancestral populations are only found. And you know what I mean? Now today in 2025 with airplanes and cars and shit, like everybody everywhere right now. But like historically, like certain ancestral populations were not nomadic.
Certain.
So that's why
I'm noticing that you're using the terminology now, certain. So I'm not speaking about certain. I'm speaking about the bulk. I'm talking about the bulk of black people, regardless of the tribe or whatever they call it. They were black people. So if we're talking about black people in Africa on the continent,
they're not a monolith though. Black people it's all kinds of. But do you know it's all kinds of different black people?
I just made that. I made that very clear. If you listen to what I'm saying instead of try to respond to everything before I even finish talking, you'll be able to hear everything I'm saying.
I don't know. I think I'm just trying to get clear. I'm not trying to be confrontational, just to let you know that, bro. I was just trying to get some clarity, bro. That's all I'm trying to
give it to you. That's what I'm saying. Like you'll get all the clarity you need if you just let me finish talking, and then as soon as I finish,
I thought you were done.
Question.
I thought we was having a conversation, bro. I didn't know you was going on a teaching spree. But go ahead. You go ahead.
I wasn't trying to teach anything. What I'm talking about is what I have an issue with it, which is the terminology of black people being sub-Saharan and only being limited to that terminology, which wouldn't make sense because black
nobody
people were
does
able
that,
to convert.
Nobody only says only black people. That's wild, bro. We already said that. Yeah, you do have sub-Saharan Africans, but you got North Africans, you got East Africans, you got South Africans, you got goddamn East Asians, you got West Asians, you got all of these different ancestral populations. You gotta name them though. We gotta know what we're talking about. We can't just be saying Africans.
We can't. Can we say black? Because that's what I've been sticking to.
You can say black.
I've been talking about.
I don't have a problem with black.
Okay,
yeah,
so I didn't name a specific tribe or say a specific people only did it. I'm talking about black Africans, what we're usually
so
talking
it's different
about
groups of black Africans, though.
Brother, so can I please, brother?
No, you're not being clear. You're just saying the same thing over and over again.
If you let me finish talking.
You're telling me you're trying to get clarity, but you're saying the same thing you just said 2 seconds ago, bro. Is what I'm
let him get it out, Corey. Let him get it out.
All right, man. I'm gonna hear it again.
By the way, hold on one second. Hold on one second. Welcome to the Discord. There is no malice. These conversations get like this. It ain't personal. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
I'm not taking it personally. All I'm asking the brother to do is to let me finish talking. I'm not. I'm just trying to finish talking. I'm not going to call that man nothing crazy. I'm not going to say nothing crazy to him. I'm just trying to get my words out so that way he can have an understanding because he keep asking me questions about things I'm trying to describe. Okay. So you won't have to ask the question if you let me talk. That's all.
Get your shit off. Go ahead.
Thank you, brother. Now, like I said, the argument that I'm bringing forth is that the term Black African is not restricted to the sub-Saharan part of Africa, of the continent. I'm saying Black Africans were all over the entire continent at one point or another. We were all over the continent of Africa. There was no part of Africa that black Africans did not touch. We even touched parts of Europe. We touched parts of Asia. So I don't understand how people allow us to be restricted to just the below the Sahara, which moves, by the way. The desert moves. Like it literally goes back and forth. So like where we only, cut off to a third of the bottom where the Sahara stops. Like, so all of these things are questions that I have to ask. So I'm gonna land my plane on that. So that way you have an understanding of where I'm coming from with what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. So I heard you say that already. Now, what I'm saying is the ancestral population that we come from are restricted to the sub-Saharan. Okay. Now, is there black people that are in Africa that are not restricted to sub-Saharan? Yes, they are. But the group when they referring to sub-Saharan Africans, they're referring to just that group, just the sub-Saharan Africans. They're not talking about the other black Africans because they are. I agree with you. There are other black Africans, but when they're talking about sub-Saharan, they're talking about a specific ancestral population. They're not talking about black Africans in general. Okay, so that was my point. Hopefully, we got some clarity because I agree with most of what you said, bro. But go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like that's kind of like an oxymoron. Like you're saying like they only talking about people from sub-Sahara. Like at what point in time of the Sahara where like at the parts where it was covering only half of the continent, at the point where it was only covering a third of the like at what point and where were we limited to since we were on, and why were we only limited to being below the Sahara? These are the things that make no sense to me. A lot of the countries that I'm from, hold on, wait. A lot of the countries that I am that amalgamates my DNA are not below the Sahara. So therefore, like when you say we or
you ain't got
people
you
that
don't
you
have to
are
have
and this and the
Magi
third,
in your blood.
I'm not restricted. My DNA is not restricted to one area. So that's why I don't understand where we get this whole
You different. You
we are.
different. So let's talk about the rest of us who don't have your unique genetic makeup. I'll just say for the record that you are different. You're not like the rest of us. You dig what I'm saying? You got DNA from all over Africa. Most of us don't. You dig what I'm saying? Most of us, our DNA is Western Central African. That's it. You feel me? But yours different. You come from all over Africa. So
Okay, where does it
congratulations.
stop?
So,
This is a quick question.
I'm saying for most of us. You just
I got
said
you. I'm saying West
come
Africa.
from all over Africa.
I got you.
When I did my DNA, is Western Central Africa. That's it.
Right. Where does it stop? On the west side of Africa, how far north does your DNA go? Where does it stop at?
Like what? What's that? Like fucking a little bit of Mali.
Sierra Leone. I think your DNA is only going
is Mali below the Sahara? Was Mali below the Sahara?
Mali is Saharan.
Mine went all the way up to Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
So hold on. So let me finish. So the whole issue is, say North Africans, right? They have a unique genetic signature in North Africa that ties them to North Africa. Now, you don't see that genetic signature all the way down in South Africa. Why? Because those people wasn't there, but they are African also. You feel me? So just because you don't see sub-Saharan DNA significantly in certain North African populations don't mean that they wasn't there, but it wasn't significant. That's not where they come from. That's not where they originate from. It's not their homeland, right? Just like East Asians. East Asians DNA, the people are Chinese, they are Asian, but it don't go all the way to Iran. You dig what I'm saying? You don't see their DNA all the way in Iran. But it don't mean that they're not Asian. So sub-Saharan Africans are Africans, but it don't mean that they come from all over Africa. They come from sub-Saharan Africa, and they might travel and live in North Africa. They might go to India. So yeah, the DNA is spread out. You dig what I'm saying? So it could be sub-Saharan populations that do live in North Africa. You dig what I'm saying? Fine. But that's not where they originate from. Does that make sense? Like,
so are you saying that the Arabs that are in North Africa right now with Arab DNA
I said nothing about
originate in North Africa? Who are the North African? Who are the people that originate in North Africa?
How could an herb originate in North Africa?
Okay, cool. So who are the people that originate in North Africa?
Western Asia.
Okay, so who are the people? Name the people that come from North Africa originally. Who are the original people of North Africa?
I'm not getting into all that. Like,
why
I'm
not?
talking about sub-Saharan
Africa. Made though, brother.
No,
it's literally the claim you just made.
No, I thought y'all was talking about the term sub-Saharan Africa and why you disagree with it.
But who are the originators of North Africa, brother? That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know.
You're talking about DNA recovered right now from Arabs. We know that those people are Arab. The majority of that population is Arab right now. We know that.
I'm not even talking about that. And I don't even believe.
So let's not even talk about that. Who are the originators of that space?
Hold on. I said I don't believe that. I don't believe that North African, the majority DNA is Arab. I don't believe that. I think you made that up.
I'm asking you, who are the originators of North Africa? Because you said people don't originate from a certain space. So who are the people that originated there?
I'm gonna imagine North Africans was the originators of North Africa.
No. Listen, Corey, I'm gonna tell them I don't know.
I can just go off of who there. I mean, why wouldn't the North Africans be the originators of North Africa? I don't understand why wouldn't they?
You see how I said I ain't know?
A large population of North Africa is Arabic. A large portion.
Arabic
speaking? A large portion of the politics that are in North Africa right now are Arabic.
Arab culture or ancestral population?
I'm not talking about ancestral because he just said he don't know who ancestral population is. So therefore,
I'm asking you. I'm asking a question.
I don't know. I'm telling you that the politics, I'm telling you that the people, the way that they do to the cultures, the religion, all of that is Arab. It's a Muslim population, hugely Muslim population.
You African, but the majority of your family's culture is Christian. But you African, but the majority of your family's culture is Christian.
Right. But it's a reason for that. It's because people were.
It wouldn't be a reason. It wouldn't be a reason why the North African culture is Arab.
Yes, it's because they were colonized by Arabs. What do you mean? Like that's the point I'm making right now. The people that are there, we know, were the colonizers of that region. So who was there originally?
All the people out. They didn't just colonize the people. They actually moved the people away too when they colonized.
So so you admitting that somebody was moved away?
No, I'm asking.
Moved away. Were those people black people, or were those people white people, or were they Arabs already? Like who were the people?
That was a question. That was a question, brother. That was a question.
Oh, that's not a question. I'm trying to ask y'all the question because y'all are the ones who saying that we were subject to only south of the Sahara. Which I firmly disagree with because
we did not say that. We did not say that. We said that ancestral population originates in sub-Saharan Africa. Don't mean that they can't be. We are in North America right now. North, South America, the Caribbean, we are all over the fucking planet. But we're saying that ancestral, man, you know what? All right, you got it, bro.
I'm just asking, how do you know that? But you don't know. You know, we were the originators of the Sub-Sahara, but we weren't above the Sahara. That's the claim that you're making. So what I'm saying is, how do you know that?
I did not say that we wasn't above the Sahara. I said we didn't originate there. This population, Sub-Saharan Africans have a unique genetic signature that ties them to Sub-Saharan Africa. What part? You got it, bro. I think you're doing this on purpose.
I'm just asking you questions, my brother, to try to figure out
I
exactly where you're coming from with that terminology.
see
Because
that
like I said, I don't
it
believe the
sounds like what
terminology.
you're asking. It
I
sounds
think.
like
Hold
what
on,
you're
wait.
asking is.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You explain it
It
for me.
sounds like what you're asking is why does science feel the need to separate these populations? But that could be the only thing that you're actually asking, because if we like he done made it real clear about the difference between where the people originate and then where they've migrated to, right? So like you're basically having a problem with the conclusion of science saying that these people actually originated here. So you're not having a problem with us. You're having a problem with them. They don't want to say that we originated there.
Got you. So where does science say where does science say that who originated in North Africa? Where does science didn't give y'all that, but science told y'all that black people were only in or originated, because we keep using the word originate when science also says that humanity originated from the heart of Africa. So I
So
don't get where
you're
we
really
were.
just skeptical that North Africans aren't indigenous Africans. Is that the major point of what you're saying?
Am I saying that North Africans aren't indigenous Africans? Is that the question
Yeah,
that
you
you
said
said?
because you keep making this, you keep talking about the people being there and then other people having to leave. So are you
I
saying
didn't
that
say that.
the actual
That was something that one of y'all said. I didn't say that. Somebody else said that. What
Oh,
I
that was
said
a
was
question.
that
That was a
what I
no, but
said
question that
was
I was
it was
asking.
based
Go
on
ahead.
something you said though. It was
right.
Corey asked you, so
What
when
I
the
said.
Arabs came in,
Okay,
they
let me
moved the
tell you what
people
I
out.
said. Let me tell you what I said. What I said was Arabs colonized North Africa, and you can see it in the religion there today. You can see it in the politics there today. They even describe a lot of themselves, especially in places like Libya, as Arab connected. So like they know that they are Arabs. They celebrate everything Arab culture. So yeah, that's pretty much what I said, is that it was colonized. North Africa was colonized. Somebody else agreed and said, yeah, and those people was pushed out. Da, 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 da. So I said, well, who
No,
are those
nobody
people that
agreed
were
that. Nobody
originated there
agreed to
that
that.
was pushed
That
But we
was
out?
were
a
trying to confirm
question.
that
That
that's
was
what
a
you were saying.
question, brother. I was
Yeah, we were
asking a
trying to
I was
confirm
question.
that that was what you were saying.
no, I don't I have no clue of what happened. All I know is that it doesn't make sense to say
You're
that
arguing
these
about
people, black people, only stay below the Sahara as described, which are using the terminology of
I
sub-Saharan
told him
people.
7
And then I
times
said,
that they
okay,
just didn't
well,
stay there.
see, I keep
I
getting cut
told
off.
them 7 times,
I
Joe.
keep getting cut off.
I told you 7 times that people can move. I said they originate in sub-Saharan Africa. So why you keep saying that, bro? Why you keep saying what I didn't say? That's a question.
No, I'm gonna let you talk. You go
No, I'm
and
asking
have
you a
your
question.
spill.
Why you keep saying that I said that they only stayed there? Why you
Hey,
I
keep
didn't say
saying that?
hey, what's up, y'all?
I
How
didn't
y'all
say you said
doing,
that.
man?
I said that's the way you're making it sound.
Hey, Chef, let me get a crack at it. Let me see if I could bridge a gap, bro. C Dot, what do you do, bro? How you doing, brother?
How you feeling, fam?
Good morning. Feeling
Morning.
good, bro. This high scale, man. So, to kind of argue from like the orthodox standpoint, far as science goes, the idea of why they separate sub-Saharan and North African, the idea is for our people, meaning most of us in North America, right? Called black folks. The idea is that the groups we descend from have been in those areas for a long enough period of time to where there's genetic distinction between the groups we descend from and those groups in North Africa. And that's including black people in North Africa also. That's the basic idea. So let me give you an example, a real life example. Are you familiar with the Andaman Islands off the coast of India, the Andamanese?
You speaking to me? Or
Yeah. Now I'm asking
no,
you.
no. I'm familiar.
All right. So that would have really helped. So basically, those people, right? Their hair is nappy. They're as dark as dark can get. They got broad noses, broad features, right? And they're from Africa. They black folks, right? But they left Africa, according to the phylogenetic tree, right? They left Africa about 50, 60,000 years ago, and they've been in that area, which is a far distance away from Africa, for such a long time to where they developed their own unique genetic signatures. So that's why they separate that. That's why they do that north and south separation. Is because like for people from like the Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, Angola, those areas. Basically, they say we've been in those areas for like multiple thousands of years. And then in North Africa, also, I'm just giving you the Orthodox viewpoint. I'm not necessarily even saying that I agree with it. Just trying to give you clarity, right? So in North Africa, the idea is also that going back to about 30,000 years ago, right? The idea is that the idea is that black folks was there, and then from about 30,000 years ago, they started prolifically mixing with Near Eastern peoples, Levantine peoples, people from Southern Europe. You know what I'm saying, like Sardinia and all that shit. So the basic idea is there's been so much mixing over the last 30,000 years to where that combined with our isolation in sub-Saharan Africa distinguishes us from those populations.
Okay, pause right there. Pause right there. I don't want to cut you.
Great
What I want to ask you
explanation,
right quick.
Astro. I got to give you your flowers for that. That was great. So go ahead, y'all.
I just want to ask you one question real quick on that, brother. What are you classifying, like geographically, what are you classifying as North Africa?
I'm just going by the UN standard, which is them 5 countries up top: Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, Egypt, and Algeria.
Okay, so anything below that is sub-Saharan.
Yeah, right. That's
Politically.
how they define it. Politically, yeah.
So you have Sahelian countries, have them. Don't forget about the Sahelian countries.
Chad, Mali, and all of them.
What you saying?
Yeah, but don't forget the Sudan is also called Northern and South Sudan now. After the Sudan was Islamized, they now call it North Sudan, pushing indigenous people from the Sudan further south.
Mm-hmm.
So this is it's just political designation. What they want to consider the North versus anything sub.
What up? Did I pour the wrong one, Brass?
You certainly did, but go ahead.
Oh, no. Before y'all get going, I'm about to send him for y'all.
That would be North Africa, right?
You cut out a little bit. Say it again.
Okay, hold on. I think it's probably where I'm at in this facility here.
No, that's probably you, Haskell. I hear you good. Chris. That's probably Haskell breaking up.
Okay.
But
all right, cool.
No,
What's above sub? What's above sub-Sahara? What would be above the Sahara? What would that be called? North Africa,
Sahara,
right?
Right, North Africa. Okay.
North Africa, right? Okay. So let's look at Algeria.
Super is another way to refer to sub-Saharan.
Let's see where we see Algeria at. Okay, so let's look at Algeria. 75% of Algeria, which is in Africa, is covered by the Sahara Desert. Would you agree with that? Geographically.
That's correct.
So anybody that lives below, so when you go south, are those people considered sub-Saharan African?
Right. They're not. trust me, I agree with you.
Thank
You
you.
know,
So that makes
yeah,
it.
I was,
No,
I
I'm
was,
with you on it. Is
yeah,
this Haskell I'm talking to?
yeah. This Haskell.
What's up, Haskell? How you doing?
What's up,
What's
man?
going on? I ain't heard from you in a long time.
Shit, we been here, bro.
Okay,
We
so
been in the Discord.
anything. Yeah, that's why I joined the
My
Discord. Me and
man
C
Haskell
Dot.
down there chilling,
I got to.
yo. Our favorite
Yeah.
Yeah.
pseudo.
Who is that?
We got
All
to
right.
stop using
So as we can see
these.
now, see. Go ahead, C
Go ahead,
Dot.
go
I'll
ahead.
let y'all
Now,
get
I
back
was just
at it
gonna say
because
because we allow
yeah.
what we doing is
No, let
we're using
MVP finish.
colonial shit.
I
Now
want to hear what he wanted to say.
go ahead, fam.
What you were
Okay.
saying, Chris? Go
So
ahead.
now we see. Okay, so now we see right here with a country such as Algeria, which 75% of it
Mhm.
is covered by the Saharan desert. Those people would not consider themselves sub-Saharan. See why I'm saying that is the term sub-Saharan Negro is intrinsically racist, and why maybe one thing we have in common is we have a problem with some of the things the pseudo killers were promoting. This sub-Saharan phenotype, for instance, with Dr. Chicken Wing, Vera Wang came on there, the Chinese Chicken Wing, microwave Chinese food cooking, and all this other bullshit she was saying, right? You can't say that someone is sub-Saharan African. I like what you were saying. You had a corridor in there where an influx of Europeans that came across what we call now the Mediterranean Sea came over into Africa, and you had people from the eastern corridor coming in from there. So Africans have always been mixing, but we don't need Egypt to see that Africans have always mixed, because guess what? Niggas is mixed today, right? But
All
we
facts.
still, let me talk. When we talk today, we still niggas, we still black
Yeah,
folks, we
but Chris,
still
I think the
African.
idea.
But when it comes to North Africa, wait 1 second, I gotta land my
Yeah,
plane. I'll let you build.
yeah.
But when it comes to North Africa, because there are many civilizations that exist there that Europeans want to claim, that they want to claim,
Mm.
because scientific racism existed in the 18 and 1700s, going into the 1900s, going into what we call quantum technology today. They wanted to claim that because they had to hold on to their scientific racism, saying black people had no advanced civilizations of their own. And they knew that. And they knew about Egypt, Carthage, etc. All of those which were created by African people. It just wasn't sub-Saharan Negroes. That is a modern term that was produced to help promote scientific racism. That's why I keep saying it is intrinsically racist, and we need to throw that shit away. Because guess what? I fuck with Mali. I fuck with Songhai. Who fucking with Songhai? It ain't too many dynasties in Egypt that can fuck with the Songhai. It ain't too many. You see what
For
I'm saying?
sure.
So what I'm trying to sort of just say, we got to get away from that term, period. And that's that conscious community bullshit rhetoric I be talking about. Because don't worry, after I get done with this sub-Saharan bullshit or this Cuba bullshit I'm dealing with, I got to deal with this Medu Netter bullshit that everybody keep thinking around thinking they knowing this shit. Because don't nobody know that shit. You
You
don't
really
know what
think
those words
You
mean.
really think Cuba is scamming?
We'll work on that. We'll work on that on my presentation. I don't want nobody to get ahead of it. But if it's
No, I feel you.
not accredited, then it ain't a school.
Yeah, I'm not trying
It's
to.
a workshop.
That's
Yeah,
between
please
y'all.
address that
I'd
Medu
say,
Never shit, bro. Please, bro.
Yeah, I
that's
ain't even trying
between
to get
y'all.
on
I'm
that
just,
right now. Yeah, and my thing, I
Hey,
was not talking about his
Please address
school.
that Medu
I was
Never
never
shit.
talking about his school. I was talking about Dr. Peggy Carr. That's what we were talking about, and that's what I
hey,
addressed.
so
What she did.
Corey,
Chris, what up?
Corey
Moving
and
on.
Chef,
What up,
you were
dog?
saying something about Mali and
Stop running, chef. Stop
and
running, chef.
Mauritania.
Go ahead, y'all.
What y'all was saying when I was talking about North
What
Africa?
up?
Y'all was saying,
Sahelian countries.
yeah, but what was y'all point in saying that they're included in North Africa?
Make
Or
sure
they're
you
No,
address that.
so when you say Algeria is in the Sahara, you know what I mean? When y'all try to equate that y'all could loosely say is sub-Saharan, no, it's not. It's North Africa and it's in the Sahara. We're talking about countries below the Sahara. Like that's just that. How did y'all
Yeah,
fuck that up
and
like that?
Chris asked what was above Sub-Saharan, and that's
which
that's
is
Ask
why
what
North
was above
Africa.
it
Sub-Sahara.
was
The
it was
How
just
can
point,
a
the
hill.
point that
It was
we're
a
Algeria?
making
hill.
is,
My
Hold
point
on,
is,
hold on,
how
hold on,
can
hold
how
on,
can
hold on, Chris.
Algeria?
I
Chris,
can't
hold
even
on,
get
hold
my
on,
point
bro.
out. I was saying that because he asked what was above. The Sahel is immediately above the Sub-Saharan, and then you go into the Sahara. So that was all I wanted to say. It was
Right.
just an
So
intermediate point.
that's his ultimate point, Corey. You know, if he's saying so, if an area like that's on the same latitude as a sub-Saharan country, right? The area of there's an area of Algeria that he was referring to, that southern portion that's literally on the same longitude, or excuse me, latitude as quote unquote sub-Saharan countries. So that's what he said. Wouldn't that area be considered
No,
sub-Saharan if it's
no,
truly
it's
just?
Sahelian. It's Sahelian. That's the bridge between where the desert ends at and grassland start. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah. But
it's
it's
like a
below
in
this.
That
between.
is nonsense. No, sir. That's wrong. Everything
Jesus
you just
Christ.
said is wrong, Chef.
No,
Ain't no Jesus Christ. He don't exist. You punching
we're
at a
Joe
not
ghost.
talking
said
about that. We're
everything
not
that I
talking
said
about.
was wrong.
No, no, no. So
You
we're not
can't
Everything
even
you
talking
take
just
about.
you
said is
serious.
wrong, Chef.
You can't even take you serious when you say something like that. You
Yeah,
can
chef.
correct something I
Okay,
You're
said,
not
but to
cool.
say
talking
that
Watch.
about.
everything that
You're
I
not
said
talking.
geographically was wrong, like that's hyperbolic.
Okay, I'm gonna address it. I bet I bet you I can address it. Bet you I can address it though. Okay, so check it out. Check it out.
Go ahead.
Where is the Sahel in Algeria? Let's do process of elimination. Is the Sahel region near Algeria? Yes or no?
It extends down
No.
into the Sahel.
Okay. 75% of the Sahara Desert covers Algeria.
Right.
When does Sub-Saharan start? Does it start at the tip of the northern border or when you go down into the interior? That's why I said, what does sub mean? Because we don't see sub Malaysia. We don't see sub equator. We don't see that anywhere else until we get into Africa.
Right.
Yeah, they refer to it as sub-equatorial region. You ain't never heard of that? The
Okay.
sub-equatorial
We're talking
region?
about, okay, what
That
a
means
sub-equatorial
everything. That
region?
means not
Okay.
we're not talking about Africa at that point. Like at that point, when you talk about the
Okay.
sub-equatorial region, you're no longer talking about just Africa.
Mm-hmm.
That means everything, even the oceans
No, I'm
below
asking.
the
Listen,
equator.
hold on, Corey.
So they use
I know this
the
Corey
prefix
talking right now.
sub. They use the prefix
He
sub.
a master at talking points and buzzwords. My point
All right,
is,
bro. I'm
my
gonna go back
point
on
is,
mute then.
no one is.
Come on, be
That'd be a
nice.
good idea.
Be nice, Chris.
The point is, I am. The point is, you cannot identify someone phenotypically as a sub-Saharan African. You cannot identify a people group as sub-Saharan. Geographically, it makes zero sense. The Sahara expanded. So that means it started off small and it got big. Did sub-Saharan Negroes exist at that time? This is an educated semantical argument that I can make in a debate or any other platform and make anybody pushing sub-Saharan phenotypes, I can make them look bad. This is simple. If the Sahara expanded, did the expansion of this people exist with it? No, the people that were in Mali were always there and they are considered sub-Saharan. They call them sub-Saharan Negroes, but they exist within the Saharan region. They don't exist below it. So what
Somebody
is
calling
sub?
Ngozi.
What
Somebody
does sub
calling
mean?
Ngozi.
Why would you need
I'm
Ngozi for
sorry, but
simple
Because he
geography?
can
Like
explain it better
technically,
than I can. And
yeah, but
it
no,
seems
no, but
like
there's
no,
nothing
but
to
it seems
explain
like
though,
people
Jeff.
respect. Hold on. It seems like people
you have
respect
to
his shit
explain
more than if
how can
I say
something
it.
be sub-Saharan
Nah,
in the
what it
Sahara.
is people
That's
just
not
get
true because
exhausted.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
different.
If
People just get
he
exhausted.
explained it,
So,
he
Okay, y'all, I'm
explained it,
taking
and
over the conversation. I ain't trying to do that.
I think y'all accept it better.
No, he wouldn't.
That is
What you
no, that is a classic.
misconception when
That's
you
a
hear
classic
when,
appeal to authority.
when you hear people speak to Ngozi and you hear them not say anything for like 2 minutes, you're taking that as like tacit approval. No, what it is a guy who's just word salading at like a fucking minigun pace. You know what I'm saying? He's just letting it fly, and at some point, like nigga, just like, all right, man, just let this nigga talk, man, because at some point it's gonna get. He wouldn't be when they transferred to being in
So
the
you
B.
saying Ngozi is incoherent? So you saying when Ngozi started talking, he be incoherent to you?
Yeah, and to y'all too.
That's
Y'all don't know
wild.
what that nigga talking
That's
about.
wild. That's a wild statement.
Corey, cut it
I'm
out,
gonna
bro.
ride with it.
You don't know when that nigga get to talking that E13B
Ngozi is Team Osiris. Hold on.
Change yourself.
Ngozi is Team
I'm not a
Osiris with
genetic
me.
guy, but he
I
explains
do
it.
not. I do not approve of that.
what that nigga is talking about, Corey. Cut it out. You gonna pretend like you know what the fuck he talking about? The C and then 20,000 years, the Natufian and then the C1 C1B and the A1 R2D2 moved up to here and then it crossed over. You don't know that. After a while, that shit just starts sounding like wompty womp.
You know that's the argument from
womp.
ignorance fallacy, right? You know that's an
What up,
argument
Mika?
from
I forgot.
ignorance
I didn't see
fallacy.
you in the room, Mika. What's going on?
And what that's saying is because I don't understand it, that means nobody understands it. That means it can't be understood because I don't understand. That's the argument from ignorance fallacy.
He has an incoherent way of delivering his ideas. Like for people who
that's
are
your
like,
opinion. That's an opinion though. Like I ain't even. That's
no,
kind of
but you just
that's your opinion, and
Let's
I ain't
get back
mad.
to this conversation. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the conversation.
Man, you admitted you don't know what that nigga talking about, and I know Chef don't know what he talking about either.
So, but I'm saying he can explain what we're saying in detail. I didn't explain it simplistically as possible. Chris want to get into the minutia. So if Chris want to get into the minutia, I have somebody who can get into the minutia with him. But for us on this level, I think we explained it perfectly fine.
You didn't.
Chris want to go into
And you know what's wild? I think Haskell explained it. I think Haskell explained it perfectly fine, though. That's the wild part. Like Haskell, when you explained it, bro, that was so clear and perfect. Like and elementary, you know what I mean? Or not elementary, but rudimentary. Like the way you explained it, it was perfect, bro. Like so. You even understand it because there's no way you could have ran that down without understanding.
I understand the argument. I still think it's a untenable position. But
so you don't think Haskell, hold on, you too smart for this. So you don't think ancestral populations have origin places?
Sure, but
exactly. How can an ancestral population come from everywhere?
Hold on. Chef, hold on, bro. But ancestral populations dividing it into a simple binary of North African, Sub-Saharan, that's a disingenuous
That's
not what they do. They don't
because
do
E1B1A. Hold on. Here, let me break this down. Let me break it down like it goes.
Hold on, y'all.
E1B1A. Hold on. Watch this. E1B1A.
You cut me off, bro. Hold on.
E1A is a genetic mutation of E1B1B. E1B1B was found predominantly in North Africa. North Africa, E1B1B come from EM2 or the EV38, which all starts in East Africa. So we were there genetically.
Let me finish with Chef, Chris.
Okay, go ahead.
Ancestral population. First of all, Sub-Saharan Africa is like 90% of Africa, damn near, right?
Right.
Rwandan.
We couldn't have been in Northern Africa.
Hold on. There's unique components among Great Lakes Africans that you won't find in people from the Bight. You know what I'm saying? And all over you can find that all. So that's what I'm saying. That demarcation that they made was a political and racial demarcation. Make no mistake about it. Science has a.
What about when they say Super Sahara? What about when they call it Super Sahara, Haskell?
Hold on, bro. Well, the super is referring to the infra is referring to the quote unquote sub. By the way, I know you got that mixed up. But anyway, let me finish what I'm
But
saying.
Haskell, you know I do agree
That's
with
what I'm
racial
saying. The
classifications, though,
super
right?
means
Oh, hold on,
it's another way
Haskell,
to
you
refer
think
to
that's a
sub-Saharan.
bar, but you do know, man, you didn't talk about this. I agree with the phenotypic and racial classifications. I agree with that. So I don't have no problem with sub-Saharan Africa. Just the same way I don't got no problem with calling the person a black person. I'm
Yeah,
not that
but
nigga.
right, but hold on. There's a consistency with how we make those delineations among people in terms of phenotype, right? There's a general spectrum that we all understand. Now we all know there are outliers. We know there are mixed people who kind of make the classification troublesome. But for the most part, when I say, okay, this is a black person, we know the general feature set that we consider or we call black, right? And it is pretty consistent for the
Yep.
most part. When it comes to the sub-Saharan and non-Saharan countries or super-Saharan, sub-Saharan demarcation, right? There is no consistency because, like Chris just pointed out, and you kind of mixed it up. I'm going to look up the latitude, by the way, for where exactly the Sahel starts at. But the point that he was making is if you go to, let's say, the most northern part of Mali, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not the Sahel. That is comfortably in the Sahara,
Facts.
right?
Facts.
And that most northern part of Mali, if you draw a line straight across, right, that cuts across
The Sahara.
Syria, Libya, right? That's dead in the Sahara. That's
Yes,
not the
sir.
Sahara.
Yes, sir.
So
Now,
would those
this
be?
is the issue.
Hold on. So the question is, would those people in that specific latitudinal space, right, from from North Mali, the most northern part of Mali, coming down south to the southern tip of Algeria, right? Are those people considered super-Saharan? Considered
No,
sub-Saharan?
so Haskell, this is where it gets confusing at. You're taking geography, right? And you taking country lines, modern country borders, and trying to superimpose that over genetic population or ancestral population. So when they're talking about an ancestral population like ours, it has an origin somewhere around in Cameroon, some damn way, right? They call us our specific branches Niger Congo, right?
Niger Congo.
Yeah, Niger Congo. Now that ancestral population, right, is Niger Congo, meaning it's somewhere around Cameroon, northern Nigeria is where these people actually, that ancestral population actually comes from. Now they can go all up into Mali. They can migrate all the way into Ethiopia. But this is the origin, and it's in sub-Saharan Africa. It's clear. Y'all tripping. I mean,
Well, number
No,
one,
it's not. That's a
Niger and
lie.
Congo are two different
Everything.
places.
Hold on. Let me answer that. Hold
Yeah.
on. Let me answer that, C-Dot. He just conflated what the gentleman that was just speaking saying. And that's a lot of things that Chef do. He asked you about the latitude line and how are people classified. That's what he asked you. And you started talking about
I ignored
ancestral
that. I
population.
ignored that.
And what he's
I
showing you,
ignored that.
hold on, Chef. Hold on,
I
Chef.
look like
Yeah, I know
actual
you.
latitude,
Thank you.
longitude,
You
and
being honest,
latitude.
my guy.
Nigga, I'm cutting
You're
hair.
being honest, my
I'm
guy.
cutting hair. How you gonna ask me about longitude, latitude
you
in the middle of me working?
you
Get the
caught,
hell
my
out.
nigga. You caught.
He said in the middle of
You caught. He got you right there. He caught you. But you know me, Seth. You know I'ma listen. He caught you and you ignored it, like you said. Geographically, no sense. Makes absolutely no sense.
it's
Especially when
not
75% of certain countries in the North African region are covered by the Sahara. What they're trying to do, what colonizers have always tried to do, is identify the people instead of letting the people identify themselves. And that's what I be sitting up there saying, Chef, you just wrong, bro. You pushing scientific racism, and I'm telling you this at the Carnivorous Podcast. Don't make me go live on your ass,
those
Chef.
people
I'm
in
telling you, you'll be
Mali,
punching at a ghost. Hey,
hold
my
on.
nigga, you'll be punching at a ghost like Trey was doing in Boys in the Hood.
The people in
I
Mali
beat
didn't
facts up on this
originate.
real bad.
Hold on. The people in Mali didn't originate in Mali, right? Those black groups moved into different places. You feel me? That Bantu expansion, we expanded. We expanded. You ever heard? So you don't believe in the Bantu expansion? Okay, well, see, y'all got a problem with.
We're not talking
Not
about.
me.
Hold on.
I'm done.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about migrational patterns. We're talking about geographical locations. That's two different nuances and two different arguments. Do you want to leave that argument and get into migrational patterns? Because that's deadly. Because when you're dealing with migrational patterns, this is how you get haplogroups amongst indigenous Africans, because genetically they're going to mutate with different climates.
What, bro?
And you keep using the word. You keep using the word originate. When you say originate, if black Africans were the first people in those places, then weren't they originators?
I don't know if black Africans was the first people.
But that's what you.
I don't know that.
So what happened when all these people migrated?
Well, why don't you go into the genetic populations that are there now? They all have European haplogroups. They don't have African haplogroups.
Well, then the Europeans was first in Africa. What are y'all saying? I don't know.
No,
what y'all saying at this point?
What I'm trying to tell you, Chef, is the same science that y'all use to try to say that we are not is the same type of sciences to sit up there and say they are not. It's simple. It's like when you guys read it, not every African is black or is black, right? Although black is synonymous with African. Well, I agree, because there are certain colonizers there that try to call themselves Africans today, and they ain't black. So of course you're gonna read that definition and hold on to it and try to weaponize that definition. But when someone such as myself or the gentleman Eddie is talking, you guys try to gaslight them. We're going to read the definition to you in context, and Unc learned that with me a couple of Fridays ago. But as usual, a lot of them pseudo killers get up there and start pushing that bullshit.
Chris,
that's why I kind of find it funny about the Gorilla and Manila arguments y'all got going.
I would debate you on this.
Don't do it, Chef.
I would debate you on. We can go live right now.
Okay, when you want to.
We can go live right now.
I'm at work, Chef. You know that.
I'm at work
Chef,
too,
I'm at work, bro.
Crazy.
I'm at work. You know that. I don't have that type of free time.
Well, you said, listen.
All I got to do is go read to you what the Africans say about the term.
I don't care. We can go right. We can go right now, because I've heard you accept science before. So if for some reason you're not accepting,
I do accept science.
You're going to show your inconsistency, not me.
You feel scientific racism.
To me,
science doesn't align up correctly, we have a right to question it.
If the term would have started out as a purely scientific term, where it came from science, and it was a demarcation that originated in science, it would be one thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's something science adopted from geopolitics. Like the term Subsaharan is literally birthed out of the colonial era and that climate, and you know what I'm saying? And
I agree.
Science just appropriated it. That's not scientific.
I'm saying if the science is showing us that our ancestral population originated in those areas, whether you call it Sub-Saharan Africa or not, you dig what I'm saying? I'm saying I'll stand, corrected if y'all can prove that our ancestral population does not come from that region.
What I'm saying is that like you can't restrict our ancestral population to just that region. What I'm saying is, if you look at the region that you're classifying as, or that is classified as Sub-Saharan, you'll see that it's the majority of the continent.
Right.
So that's my point. So why are you saying that we're only from the majority of the continent, but the other little 5 countries in the continent, we never touched that before? Because we're only restricted to the rest of the continent.
Let me tell you how bad we is. as sub-Saharan Africans, right? Or our particular group, right? We're the most successful
Chef,
group of,
hey,
check this out.
Chef,
We're the baddest group of Africans on the continent of Africa, right? Those Bantus that we
okay.
come from, right? We are the most successful group of Africans in the fucking world. We spread out all over
Okay.
the fucking globe. And we control most of Africa, meaning when we expanded in Africa, we became the most successful group of Africans. You dig what I'm saying? That's who the fuck we talking about.
Does
You
that
dig what I'm
include
saying?
Francis Quest Welson's book, Chef?
I ain't talking about. So when y'all think it's like a bad thing to call somebody sub-Saharan African, we the baddest fucking Africans. Who is more numerous than who expanded more than the Bantus? Who cover more territory and more ecological niches than the fucking Bantus? Nobody. No Africans can't fuck with us. That shit, they hugging the coastline and living in fucking deserts. We all over the fucking continent. Fuck out of here. Y'all think it's a knock on us? You're tripping. You're tripping.
When was
Fuck
the
outta
Bantu
here.
expansion? When did the Bantu expansion begin to happen, Chef?
I don't know.
What
Look
year?
it up. About around 1933.
Oh, yeah.
Right before
When
the
the
civil
term was
rights
created.
movement. Right before the civil rights movement, nigga.
Hey, Chef, you done with your bandwagon? You done with your bandwagon?
I'm just saying.
Ain't falling for that shit. Go on.
No. So y'all need to respect sub-Saharan Africans. Y'all think y'all just want Egypt so bad that y'all ain't recognizing how bad y'all are. You feel me? Y'all all want some old goofy ass shit. Control most of fucking the most successful group, and y'all want to motherfucking cry over fucking Egypt. Get the fuck out of here. Something wrong with y'all niggas, man.
No, we Pan-African, so we talk about the continent of Africa. It ain't just about Egypt. It's about the entire continent. That's ours. We claim that. We claim the whole continent. We don't just claim a piece of it or a part of it, or we don't let nobody restrict us to just being a part of the South or the West or none of that. Because
you got
my
most of it in
genetic
the best
DNA
parts of
says
it.
that I'm connected from West to East to Central. Like I'm connected to the vast majority of the continent. So
Look,
why would
black
I just
people-
restrict myself to just a portion of it?
Because you got most of Africa and you got the best parts of it. You feel me? Y'all niggas want to argue over the desert and one fucking
Fire
little
conversation.
river. That shit
Conversation. I'll be right back. This is a fire conversation.
Y'all want a motherfucking river desert when y'all got the best parts of fucking Africa.
Hey, Chef.
Y'all down that bitch with
We got all of
elephants and
Africa.
shit.
Pan-African speaks for all of Africa, not just a portion of it.
The great herds of the world is in sub-Saharan Africa and all of that. Man, y'all talking, man, fuck out of here.
Chef, look at the look in the chat right quick. I had put two pictures in. Let me know when you see it.
In this chat?
Yeah, in this chat. Yeah, in this chat.
All right, the picture of the Sahel. Go.
Right. So you see where the Sahel is, right? So you see the areas above the Sahel.
Yo, I didn't fuck this man haircut up talking to y'all.
Yeah, don't blame us, nigga.
Yeah, he should get up and beat the shit out of you.
Hey, look, I'm the little African nigga right now. My man.
You one of the most
He a
disrespectful
big
niggas
African
in-
nigga.
you one of the most disrespectful people in history, bro.
This
You say, I'm cutting this
from
little
Lagos.
African nigga's hair right now.
You feel me? He from Lagos, real Nigeria.
Hey, he not as
These
bad
niggas
as
talking about they
goddamn.
from Egypt, yo. These niggas is tripping. Eddie.
How about we do this? How
How
about everybody put their haplogroup in here right now? Let's go.
I don't even know what the hell that. What is that?
Hey, look, my little African homeboy said they Egyptians are white people.
Since y'all
How did he
love
end-
arguing that so
But
much.
how did he end up in Baltimore? Why did he pick Baltimore of all fucking places? I know he hates America. He chose Baltimore.
Hey, no, this a whole. I told y'all I worked in an African shopping center. My barber shop
Damn.
is actually in the African shopping
You
center.
said, Brass, that nigga ended up
Yeah,
in the armpit of America, huh?
Wait,
all these
hey,
stores
Haskell,
is
that motherfucker
African.
says America sucks, but he ended up in the armpit of America. He judging all us because of shitty ass Baltimore.
I like y'all African. Peaceful, right?
Hey, when you, hey, Chef, when you think about it, right, and you look at American history, are you familiar with the Western expansion of this country?
Yeah, I
All
know.
right,
I know
good.
a little bit about it. Go ahead, school me though.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as like how fast it was for the most part, like it wasn't something that took like 100 years in order for them to expand the nation all the way across it. You know what I'm saying? From sea to China Sea. So
Yeah.
why like that's why I keep saying, like, if we were on one connected continent, like, it's, you know what I mean, you have barriers and stuff like that here and there, but we've always been able, like, you have black Africans who have been living in the Sahara, all that area for God knows how long. They've been surviving there, like they live in that region, showing that it's possible to survive and live in those areas. So why would we think after thousands of years, like, we never went beyond?
I never said
Yeah, I mean,
that.
like, no. I'm
Why
not saying
you
that you're
keep
saying it. No,
saying that?
stop. I got you.
So
I'm not
who are
saying that
you
you
What is
said that.
this?
What I'm
And
saying
why
is
did
that's
you
the
use the
reference.
Western expansion?
I
What is
only
that?
use the Western expansion as a thought process of how fast that it happened. So what I'm
Right,
saying is that's why I said that happened
but
fast. But
that
we're
but the
saying
other
over
one wasn't
thousands
fast.
of years, we wouldn't have moved beyond
No, because think about
Oh,
it.
okay, I get
the
that.
Sahara.
Think about
I
it.
get what
Do
you're saying
you
now.
know
Okay.
how big
Okay, that's all.
West and Central Africa is? You dig what I'm saying? So if you're coming from a hunter-gatherer ancestral population, right? All people start off as hunter-gatherers. Why the fuck would you move up into the desert if you're a hunter-gatherer? No, you're gonna keep going to where areas is lush where you can forage and find and then right after our hunter-gathering phase, we got into agriculture. So our populations never was gonna move in large mass into the Sahara. That wouldn't make it you can't even sustain motherfucking
The
large
Sahara moved.
population. And
The
what?
Sahara moved, though, brother.
Right.
The Sahara moved. They had
And
not
so
been
when
in
the
one central
Sahara kept
location.
growing, so when the Sahara kept growing, we kept going further south. We kept finding more nutrient rich motherfucking, you dig what I'm saying? And the people who stayed in the
I don't
Sahara, they
agree.
fucked up.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I
So
don't
you
think
think
that we
niggas just
just
gonna
went
stay in the
south.
Sahara? In the desert? When
Yeah,
they
I just
fall
told you it's people. It's people who live in the Sahara right now
and
as we speak.
they're not as successful as Western Central Africa.
They've been there for 1,000 years.
But
Like,
they're
they've
not,
been there for a
but they're
very,
not
very
as
long time.
successful. Look at Mali, look at Chad. That shit is that shit is not that successful, yo. They don't have the large populations in Nigeria and shit
But
like
Mali
that.
would
They don't.
parts of Mali
Nigeria
would
is
have been
the
in the
most
Sahara.
populated country in Africa. Did you know that?
But
It's
that's
more
what I'm saying.
Nigeria.
I don't think you're looking at a map when you're saying this, because,
No, I
like,
don't care. I'm telling you, Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa. Meaning people can survive there. People are going to migrate to where they and thrive at where they can survive at. How y'all don't know this?
But that's politically based, though. That's
not
because
political.
Nigeria is one of the yes, it is. That's because Nigeria is one of the most one of the richest nations in Africa also. So
because they can
it has to
sustain
do with people
themselves.
migrating to those areas, to Nigeria, because of the fact of opportunity. So when you have places that are going through wars and all of this other stuff, people usually migrate from other parts of Africa into that country. So even in Nigeria is very, 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 very nuanced, and it's not just one people in Nigeria.
I
So,
totally
like,
agree.
so that's my
But
point.
they
Like,
all
that has to
Nigerian.
do
But
more
they
with
all
politics than it
Nigerian.
does
But they
of.
all Nigerian.
I get it. I get what you're saying. If you're born in a place, I'm American. You know what I'm saying? I was born in
meaning there's
America,
different ethnic groups
but I'm
in
also an
Nigeria,
African.
but they all Nigerian. What are you saying?
I don't get what
You
you. I mean,
playing
I
with the
don't
wrong
understand what
game.
you're saying. Like, if you're born in a place, then sure, you are technically from that place. You are Nigerian, but that doesn't mean that your entire heritage comes from that place. In many cases, people have moved around and ended up in certain places. And the initial statement to you earlier was was about trying to explain why you would make me think that you were saying, because I'm not saying that you're saying it, because you're saying you ain't saying that, but make me think that you were saying that black people could not have been in North Africa because these other people were already there and we just originate in the southern part of Africa.
We do. We originate there.
But that's what I'm saying. If you
originate, we don't originate.
then everybody originates there.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying. Everybody originates there. That's not really saying anything.
Us in particular, meaning that's where we from. You feel me?
Right. So you're saying that everybody else left at some point, but we never decided we're gonna move around or none of that. We just stayed right there while everybody else moved around.
We never left Africa. Until the white
I'm not
man,
saying that we left Africa. I'm talking about keeping it. You're talking about sub-Saharan Africa. So you say, have we ever left sub-Saharan Africa?
Yeah, there's black populations that live above the Sahara. Yes,
okay. So that's boom. As long as you'll admit that, then I'm willing to rock with you on that. I'm willing to rock with you.
That there was black North African. Okay. He the one who said that there wasn't no such thing as black North African indigenous tribes. I never said no dumb shit like that. I keep telling you we're the most successful Africans on the continent of Africa. We exist all over that motherfucker.
Hey, I ain't finished my question answered though. So back to what I put in the chat, right? So you see where you see Mali. What wrong, buddy? You see where you see Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, right? Mauritania, basically all of Mauritania is above the Sahara. Half of Mali, half of Niger, like a third. Right. So the question is, the areas of those countries that are above this or that are in the Sahara, excuse me, are those people not sub-Saharan? If the term is truly just a demarcation between people who live above the Sahara and people who live below it, because that's what it masquerades as, then are the people in the northern part of Mali North Africans or non-sub-Saharan, and the people in the Sahel region sub-Saharan?
The people in the Sahel region are Sahelians.
No, I'm not talking about the Sahel. Again, look at what I put in the chat. The Sahel, area. Hold on. But you're misunderstanding. Look in the chat where I put the pictures. The area that the Sahel covers is clearly marked, right? So Niger, for example, half of the country is in the Sahel, the other half is in the Sahara. You following me? So my question is, right, so the question is, Corey, are the people who reside in the portion of the country that's in the Sahel, that's in the Sahara, are those people not sub-Saharan, and the people who live in the Sahel sub-Saharan?
No, so you keep using sub-Saharan when you're talking about Sahelian people.
Yeah, that's still below the Sahara. The Sahel is below the Sahara, so it's sub-Saharan.
But they're not sub-Saharan. They're Sahelian. They're not sub-Saharan.
Okay, I've never heard that breakdown in
another
genetics.
Another argument from ignorance fallacy.
No, so wait a minute. So when science says sub-Saharan Africa, you're saying the Sahelian countries are not included.
I really don't know about
Of
that,
course
but
you're
I'm
not.
just
Because
saying.
Oh,
Okay.
oh
because,
wow. You can't do
because
that.
that makes
I
no
mean, it's something. I mean, because I
it
don't
makes
know.
no
What does that
sense.
mean?
Corey,
I
it
don't.
don't make no sense with you because that
I don't
makes no
understand
sense.
when you be
So
honest
you
in
get
this
somebody
community. Like
arguing
That makes no
I
sense.
mean, you did the same thing.
honest statement, being honest in this
There's
community
nothing wrong with being
is a
honest, but it's
shock.
be honest and
Is fair. You're the
nonsensical.
worst person on the planet
You
if you
could
say
be
I don't know.
honest and nonsensical, and what you just said was nonsensical. So back to
No,
my
I'm saying
question then.
they're Sahelian. Are they do people refer to them? I don't know. I'm saying those are
Yeah,
Sahelians though,
they're
bro.
sub-Saharan. If you
Fine.
look up sub-Saharan
If that's what
countries,
you want to call it. So I'm not.
Let me read
Mali,
something. Can I read something?
Niger, when you look up the sub-Saharan countries, Mauritania, Mali, Niger, and Chad are included in sub-Saharan Africa. Period. I don't know what you're
Can I
talking about.
can I
Whether
can I
they're in the
read something?
Sahel or not, they're
You
considered
had went out,
sub-Saharan.
or was that me, Haskell? You had
I
went the
think
last part of your
it
statement.
might have been me. But back to my question though, because I wanted to answer if possible, right? If the sub-Saharan and non-sub-Saharan thing is purely geographic, right? And it's just dealing with populations that live in the Sahara versus populations that live below the Sahara, then would the residents of the northern Mali, northern Niger, northern Chad, and Mauritania,
So
would
part
those
of the
people be?
country is in the Sahel, and part of the country is in the Sahara. I don't
There
know
you
what else
go.
to say. I don't understand
Right.
what else to say.
So so I don't know why that's so hard for you. Are the people who
I
live in
said
the
it. That is not
Sahara,
hard.
are they
Okay.
non-sub-Saharan people?
Yes. The people that's in the Sahara are non-sub-Saharan. Yes.
The Hausa,
There you go.
the Fulani.
The Fulani is a nomadic group. They all over Africa. So I mean, you
They're a
can
prominent ethnic group in the Sahel.
okay. Well, then they Sahelian. You answered your own question. Then
So are they black? I mean, what are they? Are they? I
it's
mean, are they
black people
sub-Saharan
everywhere.
states or no?
Listen, it's black people in North Africa, East Africa, West Africa, Central Africa, South Africa. We done said
What about
that
the
a
Songhai?
million times now. We done said that
What
a
about the
million
Songhai
times
people?
now.
What about the Songhai people?
Songhai, they accept. What do you mean? They black. So what are you saying? You asking
Okay.
about black people in one statement, then you asking about sub-Saharan people in another statement, right? So black people is a general statement. Sub-Saharan is a specific statement.
Hey, look, if they came out tomorrow and just admitted that sub-Saharan is just that means niggas and real niggas or the true Negro, I'd be good with it. Cause now you're keeping it real.
Okay.
I don't like the fake shit. Oh, it's just something to to demarcate the people who live below the Sahara and the people who live above. No, it's
Yeah,
not.
so
No, it's
scientifically that's what it's to denote. But when you look at that group, when you step out, so you got the scientific sub-Saharan, right? But when you step outside and you step outside of science and you look at that group below sub-Saharan, the sub-Saharan group, you see that they black people. That's it.
I'm looking at the Sahel people and they black people right now.
Fine. I never said they wasn't. That's the point. I just told you that black people are in the Sahel, they're in North Africa, they're in the desert, they're in the grasslands, they're in the tropical areas, they're in southern areas, they're everywhere on the continent.
Right. So that would mean that the continent is their origination. They originated on the continent.
Who said they didn't originate on the continent?
Okay, did the people that colonize North Africa right now, what we consider North Africa right now, are they originators of the continent?
The people who colonized it?
Correct.
No, they're not. No,
They're
the
not
people who
originators, right?
colonized it are not originators. No.
Okay. So the black people of the continent will be the originators of the continent. Would you agree or not?
The black people of the continent. Now, there's indigenous people that are not black, right?
Hold up. So see that when you saying the colonizer, you talking about Europeans or Arabs?
Arabs
Both.
or Europeans or both. Both of them, all of them, whatever.
Mm-hmm. The people who
They
drew
are
the
not
line
either.
to have us calling us
Regardless,
sub-Saharan
they're
right now.
not the originators. Logic. Regardless of which colonizers he's talking about, they're not the originators.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. It sounded like he was getting at a particular time period. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, sure.
Either way, whatever
I
time they was, whatever time
yeah,
they was,
I get what he's
if they're
trying to say. I
colonizers,
mean,
they're not originators. Whatever time
right,
it was.
right. I get that.
So that's the only point I always try to make, and you know what I'm saying, help try to like use these terms, because some of these terms
But are you saying the
don't like
population, or
confusing.
are you talking about the population or the colonizers? Because that's two
You know what I'm
different things,
saying?
right?
I'm
So
right.
the
Well, the population
population of North
includes the
Africa is
colonizers.
different than the colonizers of North Africa. You
I
understand
think
that,
that's
right?
what I was trying to ask for.
Right. The population includes the colonizers. You know what I'm saying? Like that a large portion of the population in North Africa have deep Arab ties. Even when that's why I didn't. I mean, certain people used to like Gaddafi. I know it's off topic, but I used to have an
So
issue
you
with
say
Gaddafi
deep
because
Arab
of his
ties.
pledge to Arab America. I mean, Arab. Say again.
So you're saying that when you say deep ties, right, to Arab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know what you mean by deep ties to Arab, right? Are you saying deep ties to Saudi Arabia or just the Arab culture? What are you saying?
The Arab culture in general, because you have certain
Okay.
those countries that we usually
So
call
so
North
you know,
Africa
so
have
you
an
so
Arab
do you
alliance.
know? I just want So do you know that the Arabs came and colonized parts of West and Central Africa too?
Sure. Well, I don't know what
Right.
that got to do
So
with what
now
we're talking
my
about.
point, right? That's what I'm finna get to right now. I know you didn't understand why I said that, but the reason why I said that is because they actually came to West and Central Africa and colonized that motherfucker, right? Actually, it's actually groups of people there today that practice Islam and speak Arab, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing is, although they've been conquered and they've taken on somebody else's culture, the people are still there. You understand what I'm saying when I say that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You
I'm,
know,
I'm, I'm, let- I'm, is there more to it? What
no, I'm
that has to say?
asking, are you understanding? Are you picking up what I'm laying down here?
Yeah, I'm where I thought it was at the end. I thought
Yeah,
you
that's
had
all that was my point. My point is, although they've been
colonizer.
colonized, listen, although they've been colonized, they speak Arab and they take on an Arab culture, right? The people, the original people, they're still there. So I'm saying the same thing about North Africa, right? Although they've been colonized and they practice Islam and they speak Arab language, a form, a dialect of Arab, right? Mind you, um, the people are still there. The people never left. They never changed the people. So all those people, because
So no
I'm gonna
Arab
just
people
get to the
came into
point
the
where y'all
country.
at.
Hold on, wait. So no Arab.
That's what
came
that's
in.
what I was catching too,
That's not what
Corey,
I'm
because
saying.
when
That's
you
not what
made
I'm
that
saying.
comment earlier about the people, the population moving out when the colonizer came in, it's it sounded like that was like a double down to that particular statement. So that's what I heard too. Go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at though is that the people that's there, those, because I'm just gonna get to the point. What y'all trying to say is the Egyptians that's there today, those is all colonizers. All them Arab looking Egyptians, them all colonizers. What I want to say
A
is
large,
before,
vast majority of them are. A large portion of them
that's
are.
a false statement. That's a false
That's a
statement.
false statement. Egypt is only 17% Arab.
According to what?
According to modern genetics.
What source is that? What source are you using to come up with that?
Man, that's a quick Google. That's a quick Google. Quick.
Right.
You got
That's
your
what I'm saying.
phone,
I know. That's what I'm asking. Where could I
phone in
go?
your hand
Wait,
right now. Right now. And you can prove that wrong right now. You got your phone in your hand.
You can ask Google. Quick. You can ask Google questions now, and they'll tell you.
I don't have to. I'm sitting in front of a computer right now, so I don't mind looking it up. That's why I asked for a source. So
I'm saying you can ask Google for it, and it'll tell you.
Google will give you the source. Google it.
You can ask Google questions, and they will do. They will somewhat AI it into it. They'll get to you.
Okay. From what I'm looking at, ethnic composition of 2000,
Just Google is Egypt
84.1%.
10% Arab.
I'm looking at what I just Googled. I'm reading off what I just Googled. It says 84.1% is Egyptian Arab, 5.5% is Sudanese Arab, 2% is Arabized Berber, 2% is Bedouin.
Bedouin.
Hold on.
You're looking at
1.6% is Rom Gypsy, and 4.8% is other. So
You're looking at the demographics. Well, I'm talking about the
I'm
genetics of
looking
the
at the
people.
ethnic composition. That's what I'm looking at, the ethnic composition.
Right.
That's
You didn't
the
Google. You
thing
didn't
I'm
Google.
looking
So
for.
ethnicity is different. Ethnicity is different than genetics. So I mean, like you gotta. He was talking about genetics. I was talking about genetics also. So,
Just Google. Is Egypt
the
17% Arab?
ancestral population actually is what I'm talking about. But go ahead. In simpler terms, I guess I can put it in.
Can you give me the
simpler
rest of the
terms.
genetic makeup that y'all talking about? Because you said it's
No,
what now? Go ahead and explain it while I'm looking this up.
Explain what part again? What did you say?
North Africa mainly across from Libya all the way across to Morocco. These people are considered Amazigh people or Berber.
Yeah, but no, the point is, Chief X, is they're indigenous Africans. That's the point.
Right, they are.
Okay. Yeah.
Zahir Watts ain't no indigenous African. Y'all ain't gonna get me to
That's right.
go
Yeah, I
down.
typed in genetic makeup of Egypt. It's telling me to
Actually,
study using a
Zahi is
comprehensive Egyptian
actually
genome. A study using a comprehensive Egyptian genome reference found that modern Egyptians have ancestral components from the Middle East around 27%, Eurasia around 24%, North Africa around 15%, and East Africa around 9%. That's modern Egyptians. Now it says one for ancient Egyptians. Research on ancient Egyptian mummies has shown that they had close genetic relationships with ancient and modern Near Eastern populations, with some showing evidence of sub-Saharan African ancestry. Influence from Mesopotamia. A recent study analyzing the genome of an ancient Egyptian individual from the Old Kingdom period around 4,500 to 49 years ago, 4,900 years ago, revealed a significant genetic link to Mesopotamia, specifically the area between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This finding aligns with historical evidence of trade and cultural exchange between the two regions. Sub-Saharan ancestry, and this is the last one. Studies suggest that the proportion of sub-Saharan African ancestry in modern Egyptians may be higher than in ancient Egyptians, indicating gene flow into Egypt over the past 2,000 years. This could be
stop right
That's
there.
a key point. That's a key
Yeah. Now, what
point right there.
does that mean?
That's a key point.
Let
You got to
me
read that
finish
again.
reading.
Oh, okay. My bad. When you read it, when you're done, we got to go
This
back over
could
that
be
because that's a key point. Go ahead.
okay. Just let me finish, my brother. It's the last point. It's a sub-Saharan African ancestry. I'm gonna read that over again. Studies suggest that proportion of sub-Saharan African ancestry in modern Egyptians may be higher than in ancient Egyptians, indicating gene flow into Egypt over the past 2,000 years. This could be due to factors like increased trade, mobility along the Nile, and the trans-Saharan slave trade. That's the end. Now go ahead. Say what you're saying.
You have to hear this, bro. You have to hear this. You have to hear this clear because you read it,
Before you
not
say
me.
it, and before you say it, it still didn't
Go
say
ahead.
what old boy just got through saying, because that's why I asked for where his information came
Fine.
from, because they didn't get that genetic makeup.
I
But
don't
go
think.
ahead.
I don't
Sorry.
think you. I don't think that
Hold
that's
on.
what that was. Well, anyway, regardless, right? The point is, bro, that the modern Egyptians today, the ones that you see today, the people who you think is Arabs, right? They have on average 8% more sub-Saharan DNA than their ancestors. Now, you just read the fact that they have an influx of sub-Saharan genetics more than their ancient ancestors. So what does that tell you? What when you heard that, when you read that, actually, not you didn't hear it, you read it. When you read that, what did that say to you, brother?
Okay, when I read it, I read the fact that it says, for one, studies suggest that the proportion. So I'm looking at something
That's
that
how
is
science
suggestive
talks.
theory.
But go ahead.
So
You're
the
correct.
data
So I'm viewing it
suggests.
because
Go
they're
ahead.
viewing it as a suggestive theory. They're not saying that it's factual.
No,
They're not saying that
the
we know this
data
is sure.
suggests.
It's a suggestive
Okay,
theory.
even if it's a suggestion, what does the suggestion say to you when you heard the suggestion?
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't really say. I mean, it says what it says, that
No,
modern
no.
Egyptians
What is that?
may
What
have a higher
in layman's
percentage
terms?
than ancient
Break it
Egyptians.
down as if I'm a
Hey, see that?
third
I'm not
grader.
gonna let him do you like that, bro. Let me tell you what's going on
No,
right now.
I'm asking him a question, Haskell,
Nah,
and it's a
nah, nah,
legitimate
nah,
question.
nah.
Haskell, can we get this answer, Haskell?
Can
Can
we
we
get
get
the
this answer?
answer for a minute, Haskell? One
No,
time,
let you
I'm
do it for
asking.
him.
I'm asking, Haskell. I'm asking. Well, let me ask you the question then, Haskell. Since you gonna run interference, let me ask you the question, right? Because hopefully you can just answer the question and then give me your rundown on why you think they lying, right? Now they saying that the ancient Egyptians had more sub-Saharan genetics than the modern Egyptians. What does
No,
that
other
mean?
way
What
around.
is the suggestion?
Other way around. Other way
No,
around.
that's not what it
No,
says.
no, that's what they're saying. They're
No,
saying that
no. It's saying that it's saying
the
no,
modern
hold
Egyptians,
on, see that.
the
Hold on,
modern
see that.
Egyptians today have more sub-Saharan in them than
Right.
their ancestors
You said it.
did.
You said it the
That's
other
what
way
they're
Basically,
saying.
around.
that's the complete
Or
opposite
did
of
I?
the story
I said it the other way.
that y'all familiar
Hold on.
with.
Hold on, Logic.
Hold
Yeah,
on, let him
Corey.
answer. I want to
You
hear
got
a
it right,
clear
Corey.
answer. Not no
You
flim flam.
just go ahead. Keep
Give me a clear.
asking your question.
No, I'm asking for the answer now. Go ahead.
So what was the question? That modern Egyptians have more sub-Saharan DNA than ancient Egyptians, right? So what's the
What does
question
that
in that?
mean to you? What does that mean to you?
Well, what it means is a bunch of population geneticists sampled a bunch of mummies from a Greek cemetery and concocted some shit out of it, and then took a panel from
Okay, so the geneticists, we can't
hold
trust
on,
no geneticists
hold
then.
on,
That's what that means to you.
I'm answering your question. I'm answering your question.
Well, you
Right?
said they lied and made something up. So I mean,
I
go
never
ahead.
said they lied. I never said they lied.
Well,
They
what was
put
you
in the
saying?
paper. They put in the paper what they did. You know what I'm saying? They took some
And you said they
some
made it up.
No, I said
So
they
that's basically
concocted it.
lying to me.
You saying they
Concocted, made it up.
concocted
That's
something, they
lying.
made up
Yeah,
something.
they
That's
Concocted.
lying to me, bro.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
I'm a
lying.
when you make
construction
up,
worker.
when you
They
I'm
took
a
a
construction
disingenuous
worker.
sample. That's
I'm a
lying.
construction worker, Haskell. When you say concocted, that means lying to me.
Okay, they lie by
All right.
omission. Okay, fine.
Shit, damn. Come on, man. Let's do it. Let's
So
not do
Corey,
this.
so
Bullshit,
Corey, so what he's saying, Corey, what he's saying is everybody who worked on these genetic projects from different countries, you think it's like one person or two people. You have Europeans, you have Asians, you have groups of people in different areas working on this project for this genetics. You just think they all got together and lied to each other and schemed just to fool you.
Well,
Is
I
this
don't
what you're
think
saying?
everybody
It's a conspiracy.
is that a rhetorical question, or you want me to answer that?
No, they're all trying to trick you and black folk. Is that what you're trying to say?
He's asking, is it a conspiracy to trick you? He's asking,
no? I'm
is it a
saying, do you want me
conspiracy?
to answer that? Does she
Yeah,
just want me to answer that,
genetic
or
experts. Let me say, all these. You're saying they concocted it and tricking people. You're saying they did all this to trick you. They conspired against together.
Yes, I'm saying just that. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's mental health issue. Yeah, that's
Yes,
a mental
dude.
health.
They despise
Paranoia is a mental health issue.
the idea of anything North African or Egyptian being associated with anything black. Historically, it's been shown that they have contempt for that, and they've done
So why do we listen to
which
science
way.
at all? Why do we
Hold
listen
on,
to
I'm in the
anything
middle.
the
I'm in the
scientists have
middle
to
of.
say?
I'm
Go
in the
ahead.
middle of
Go ahead, bro.
speaking, bro. Yeah, they've done all manner of obfuscation in different disciplines all through the years, and that's not up for debate. That's a fact. So if you're
So
gonna take and they put it in the paper also where they gave, a little fake admission that, hey, by the way, this is from a time and from an area that's not necessarily representative of the entire country, blah, 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 blah. They gave some lip service to basically say, hey, we know we doing some 3-card Monty shit, but it is what it is.
So they're putting their
So that's
reputation and their career on the line to trick you.
their reputation, their career ain't gonna be on the line. The vast majority of the
Putting out false
discipline,
science information will get
that's it.
your ass kicked in the science community.
No, it won't. Not when it's the orthodox position. If everybody's agreed on the same lie, then no, you ain't gonna get kicked out of nothing.
Wouldn't the
If a
release?
scientist from
So
Germany
can C-Dot
turns
answer
out
the
more
question now?
bad
Is he allowed to
information,
answer?
we have scientists in Russia, scientists in Samoa, scientists in the Arab world, Japanese scientists, Chinese scientists will kill him for putting out some bullshit information. This is how it works.
No, they
You
won't.
can't just
Wouldn't the release of the Human Genome
Now you
Project,
talking?
like
He
the
just mentioned
findings from
people
the
that
Human
actually
Genome?
are the ones who cut up the continent in the first place. Like, how you gonna start with Germany? They act like they some stand up individuals, especially when it comes to
No,
African history.
but I'm saying if there was some conspiracy like that, wouldn't the Human Genome Project be like the ultimate contradiction?
Yeah, it's a bunch of conspiracies out there that came true that we found out that was heavy.
But I'm saying if we can't trust science, they also release that humans is like 99.9% the same. That they're also the ones telling you not to do all that shit.
Why do y'all use science like it's a noun? Like you can't trust science? Well, like, what is there? Is there a body that's called science? Like there are people who do bad and disingenuous science.
Right.
And the authors on that particular study, I'm just speaking to that right now. That was disingenuous methodology. Period.
know it.
Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with.
Science has a body of work that is consensus. It
It
is a
has
body. It's a body of
nothing
work
to
that's
do
consensus.
whether or not you agree with my position as far as that goes. It has nothing to do with who I trust and
Okay,
whether I
who,
believe everything is it has nothing
Haskell,
to do with that.
Haskell, who on the planet put together a presentation and called it out as bullshit besides you? What scientist on planet Earth has called it out as bullshit?
You got
But you know
Jordine, you
better
got
than every
Cade. Hold
scientist.
on. I'm answering your question, dude. Off the top of my head, I can name three scientists. Vanessa Davies, Kieda, and Jordine. There are
I'm gonna
more,
pay
but
you.
those are the
I'm
ones
gonna
that
pay you $100 if you show them disagreeing with what we're specifically talking about.
So Sakita
you're
don't
not
believe
gonna
in
pay me
the out of
$100 because
Africa
I got.
theory?
Hold on, Corey. You just made a bet.
What?
He's not gonna pay because we have the paperwork. Kata disagrees with it completely, and I could put it in the chat, and he's not gonna pay no
Disagree with what?
$100. So forget
Disagree.
about the
Yeah,
Disagree
100.
with what?
not overall
Disagree
disagreement. He
with
got
what?
a specific disagreement, not an overall
No, no,
disagreement.
no, no,
He
no,
got a
Corey.
semantic disagreement.
No, he doesn't. He trashed that study, Corey. Totally
Okay,
trashed
I
it.
show
get it.
because we haven't seen that.
He in science. I don't know why you trust him.
He said he's not.
Right.
He said
I
he's
said he
inside.
is.
You can't
Yeah,
pick and
okay,
choose
but
what
that's
scientists you want to.
because you have a simple binary mind,
And
logic. Like I'm a
I know he
nuanced
pushes the
person.
out of Africa theory.
No,
Yeah,
I don't
you said
understand. So the
you
thing
don't
is,
trust the scientists, and they could be all
I
political and
never,
all of
I
that
never
extra
used
stuff.
the word.
and then
I never used the word.
logic. Look, they
I
saying
never
they
said
talking like
anything about who I
science is
trust or
not
who
an
I don't trust.
interdisciplinary.
That's the simpletons. That's
But they
simpleton logic.
talking as if
I
science
don't
is
use
not
simpleton
interdisciplinary.
language and simpleton
Yeah,
terminology
like
about
it's
who I trust and who I don't trust. I never spoke on trust or not trusting or nothing. I spoke about a specific study. I said the
Mhm.
methodology of the study was disingenuous. Period. All that extra
Oh,
shit you want.
on one specific study, yeah,
So,
fine,
so,
I'm
so
fine.
what that
All right.
means is this the logic special. So what you mean is you don't trust science. What are you talking about, nigga? I see why you be tearing shit up. Why you was in the video like, oh, so what that mean? The gorilla this and the man ain't said nothing like that, but your brain done went to some old outer space shit. I said what I said, man. I said that particular study, the methodology was disingenuous. How do you take that and run to who I trust, who I
you
don't
made your
trust?
bed up, Elijah. You got to sleep in that one.
If I believe in this time, I don't believe in. Come on, bro.
Man, that's a nice
Hey,
comfortable bed
Elijah.
I'm sleeping in too. That's
Hey, Elijah, I ain't gonna
that's a
lie, you
bullshit
made
free
your
bed
bed
I'm
up.
sleeping. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep in that real comfortable too. That's a bullshit free bed right there. I'm good. I'm good. I went up there. I went up there with the sole purpose of not having to have the conversation ever again. That's what I want. You can take whatever sound bite, whatever clip you got. Go ahead, my nigga. That's all yours. Yeah.
Nah, I ain't even. You know what? I think I've grown to understand you a little bit, Logic. How your brain processes information. Like you're
There
a
you go. This
binary
finna be
type of
something
person.
crazy. I can
Like
tell.
no, you a binary thinker. Like it's either column A or column B. Like that's just what I've noticed with you, and there's not much appreciation and nuance. Even when we talk basketball, like you say crazy nonsensical shit. So it's just what I've come to expect of you. It's just who you are.
I appreciate the compliment.
So
But see that, bro. They try to get you, my nigga. Like
oh, they can't.
that little study they're referring to with the Subsaharan shit. Yeah, you got to look that up, bro. Look up that Schuneman study. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm looking at the references now, actually, for what AI brought up
Yeah,
as
they know you
what they were
crazy, so they
talking
try
about.
to get you.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't freestyle these type of conversations, man. I be wanting to actually, you know what I'm saying, folks to provide evidence and, you know what I mean, some study of what they be talking about. Because a lot of times they'll confuse people. Because like I said, people that don't know, that don't look at a map will think that, you know what I'm saying, like Sub-Saharan, these people only come from this part of the, like, no, this don't make that. Sub-Saharan is a political idea of Africa. It has nothing to do with the placement of people. Nothing. Black people were all over the continent and beyond. It's just the truth. So there's no way to just label Black Africans as Sub-Saharan. We African, period. The entire continent was ours.
So okay, so watch this. I think this is actually what you're trying to say, right? I think that what you're trying to say is because they are willing to describe the genetic diversity of North Africans, that you feel as if when they're saying that the Egyptians are predominantly Western Asian DNA, that they're saying that they're not African. Is that what you think they're saying?
No, I didn't mention Egypt. I mean, I'm mentioning parts of North Africa in general.
Well, that would apply to
North
all
Africa.
them. That would apply to all them North African. Well, I ain't gonna say it like that, 'cause that's a blanket statement.
Thank you. There you
But
go.
are you saying
West.
that a person can't genetically have most of their genes be tied back to
I'm not
Western
making a
Asia
genetic.
and
I'm gonna
not
stop
be, and
you.
also be considered
I'm not making a
indigenous
genetic argument. I'm not making a genetic argument because genetics are very, very diverse. So that's why I keep saying Black. So I keep talking about Black Africans because there are still genetic diversity in Black Africans. We have genetic diversity in us as Americans. I know because I've done my DNA research to see what parts of the world my DNA comes from. So I understand that there's genetic diversity all over. So when I say Black Africans, I specify because I don't want it to go into this whole, oh, well, we're genetically different from East Africans because if we were West Africans. No, I have a genetic makeup from both East and West Africa and Central Africa. So therefore, I'm connected to all of these different places all at the same time. So I'm not talking about genetic diversity because that tries to muddy up the argument. So I stick to just talking about black people and people who identify
That's gonna
themselves
make
as
you
black
unique.
Africans. That's it.
Well, you just a unique brother. Is all right. Because most of them are from just
Brother, whatever you saying, I ain't hearing it. It's kind of going in and out.
Oh, am I? My bad. My bad. I don't know if I'm in a good area now.
You
Can you hear
is
me
now.
now?
Okay, yeah, that's better now.
I'm good. I'm good now. Okay. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. What did you just say? You said something. I wanted to. I commented. Oh, I was saying that you just unique. The fact that you come from East, Central, and West and South Africa, like when you got all those different genetics, right? That makes you a unique person because the overwhelming vast majority of them just come from West and Central Africa.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you even have people right now. Like, I look at. I mean, you can look at Africans right now. You have West Africans who are married to East Africans who have children. So their genetic makeup is going to be made of East and West Africans. Wodi Maya is a West African who's married to an Ethiopian. So and there's literally, you look at the both of them, they look like two a perfectly fine
You know
American
how
couple.
we know why
Black
Wody Meyer
So
is
black.
married to an East African. You want me to tell you why he married to an East African?
I'm not. That's not the conversation.
Why he married to an
Who
East
has the
African?
most genetic diversity?
And
Period. That's the question.
no. Listen, bro. Before we run off down some other rabbit hole, down some other rabbit hole, right? The reason why Wody Meyer can have an East African wife and his ancestors wouldn't have been his ancestors from the time periods that y'all talking about wouldn't have been able to have an East African wife because Wody Meyer is in a time period where we got airplanes and shit.
So
You
people
understand what I'm
didn't travel
saying?
before airplanes. They just stayed in
But
one spot.
logic,
They would have walked. They would have been
Came down
walking. So
here.
Wody Meyer wouldn't have
Arabs
walked
came to
to
Africa, but
Ethiopia.
Africans couldn't move
Wody
around.
Meyer wouldn't have walked to Ethiopia to get a Ethiopian wife.
So black
He wouldn't have
people
did that.
wouldn't walk around Africa, but Europeans
I
would
didn't say black people.
all of that. They was the only
Wody
ones to
Meyer is from the Bight of Benin. Wody Meyer is from the Bight of Benin, right?
they got the bite of a name.
So Wody Meyer wouldn't have walked. Now black people would have walked, but Wody Meyer wouldn't have did that.
You still not classifying. So you're telling me that black Africans back in them way back, ancient Africans, however far you want to go back, they couldn't travel around, but Europeans
They could travel around, but they
Asians
wouldn't have traveled from the Bight of Benin
that's
to
the argument
Ethiopia.
that you're making right now.
No, they could travel around, right? But they wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been advantageous to start walking across the continent, right?
So they didn't have animals to ride on either. They didn't have different ways of transportation. I'm trying to figure it out because it's making it seem like you're saying that Europeans had the ability
they didn't
to
have
travel.
animals to ride on.
Asians
They
had the
didn't.
ability to travel,
No,
but
they
black
didn't. I'm gonna
people
say it
could
again.
not move
I'm gonna
around.
say it again. They didn't have animals to ride on. They
Mansa
didn't.
Musa went to Asia. Damn.
That's
He went
Mansa
to
Musa.
Mecca
That's the medieval time.
Mali.
That's
And you
Mansa
telling me
Musa. That's
that
medieval.
Africans couldn't move around? I'm just not understanding
No, Africans back in ancient times, Sub-Saharan Africans did not have animals that they could ride on. They didn't. It's not true. They didn't have those type of animals. They didn't have horses and camels and shit. I'm sorry to tell you that.
They had elephants.
No, they
and
wasn't.
Mansa Musa was not an
elephants?
ancient. He was not. Mansa Musa was not an ancient.
You
time.
think a Nigerian gonna get an
How was
elephant
he
and
moving
ride
around?
across
Was Mansa
Africa?
Musa moving
Hold
around
on,
in the
listen
car?
to this.
Did he drive
This
from
brother
Mali to
just
Mecca?
This
I'm just
brother
wondering,
just
did he
said
drive
that
from Mali
they
to
had
Mecca?
elephants. I never
So
heard
that's
of a
what y'all
person
believe?
from
I'm just
Nigeria
wondering because
getting on
y'all
an
talking like
elephant
we
and
couldn't move.
riding to Ethiopia. This shit
You
is
imagine?
crazy at this point.
You imagine feeding
I
that
believe
elephant?
that you don't walk that far. Is that your ideology? I mean, is that what y'all believe?
This is crazy.
That elephant probably spent more
It's
time
because
eating than
genetic
he do walking.
population.
Like,
So what y'all don't understand is genetic populations move that far. But
Hey,
like
see,
one group,
send me
how
that
do you
article
know
that they
genetic?
gave you. Send me that article.
one family is not going to walk across Africa. No. Now a
No,
population over time will end up across
if a
Africa.
king
Yeah.
get up and move, the whole tribe wouldn't move with the king. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, is you wow? What?
You have
Don't
no
you know
choice.
there's niggas in the kingdom that think the king is wild as fuck and wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire?
Yeah, that's
From the
some
same tribe. Okay, so
Yeah,
like, what do you mean? Why then when he got up and left, everybody got up and left too?
because you have to go where the
Did
money
he
at,
leave
or
by
you
himself?
destroys.
Are you saying the king left by himself? It was just him.
No, he took his relation with him.
I just don't understand this thought process, bro. Like, why could everybody else in the world move around? Like, people could come all the way from China, all through, you know what I mean, the trail, God, it slipped my mind right now. But all of this traveling was going on, moving around was going on. People didn't have
But when it
cars and
come to
planes
us,
then.
we
When
gotta.
it come to us,
But when it
he
come to
was
us,
just
we gotta
sitting.
stay there.
No,
We gotta
Yeah,
y'all
stay
he was
heard
there.
just
the
in one
Bantu
spot. Wasn't
expansion,
I'm
moving
didn't
nowhere.
confused
Wasn't
with
doing no
that
trade. Nothing.
narrative.
you guys have heard of the Bantu expansion, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's only navigating around the from the middle to the lower part of Africa. That's just one. You talking about one tribe when you talk about the
They went a
Bantu
couple
expansion.
directions, but
You're not
yeah,
Hey,
talking
see
about.
that,
I'm
Let
saying
me
they
let me
did,
explain
but it
this.
was a
Let me
whole
explain
bunch of
this to him.
traveling around the southern region of Africa. It wasn't.
Sometimes
and
when
see that
these gentlemen
I
speak,
wanted to
sometimes
say while we still
a
good,
lot of the times when these
I wanted to
gentlemen
say
are
I love your politics, see that, but we ain't seeing eye to eye right here. But when you want to talk politics, bro, I'm riding on your side. But right now, see that I don't understand what's going on right now. But go
I'm
ahead.
yeah,
trying to.
I was waiting
I'm
on you
trying
to
to
take
give
a
you the
break from
real.
that because I definitely want to hear your
can I
politics
say something?
information.
Can I say something real quick? Well, first of all, it's a fire ass conversation. First of all, it's just like a breather that finally I ain't arguing with a bunch of dumbasses that sort of don't know what they talking about. But sometimes when y'all approach African history, we approach it from the standpoint of like we attack the Bible. West Africans weren't writing down books on everything they did. That was quite Oriental. That was being done a lot in the North because of the consecutive invasions that were happening. And indigenous Africans did not want to lose their identity on they were. To sit up there and say that West Africans never moved around Africa would be wrong. And let's be honest, a lot of the stories of Mansa Musa are told from secondary, tertiary sources. There are not many primaries about Mansa Musa or him writing these things down himself. That's not to say that he didn't move around Africa. That's not to say that West Africans or people in the Sahara, or Sub-Saharan, as everybody likes to say it, weren't moving around. That's fallacious to think like that. And that's what scientific racism leads you to believe, that everyone else can migrate in the North. Every other people group can migrate and settle. But when it comes to the people on the west coast of Africa or anything below the Sahara, they weren't doing any of that. It doesn't make sense. The
Chris, do you know where
hypothesis is
we went at?
incorrect.
Chris, do you know where we went at? When we came out of northern Nigeria, Cameroon, right? We populated all of sub-Saharan Africa. Look at how big that is.
Okay.
That means we was moving, my G. We wasn't playing. We took over
90%
all of
of
Africa. Exactly.
Yeah, we was
So why you
colonizing,
keep
hunter
saying
gatherers, all type of shit. We was
exactly?
running down on
Why
that.
y'all keep saying we wasn't moving? That's the biggest
Who
migration
said that?
on
We're arguing.
planet.
That's
Hold
what
on.
your ass just
Hold
said.
on.
Let me tell you
Your
this again.
people said.
Chef,
All right,
hold on,
nobody ain't saying
Chef,
that. Let me get
you
my
are
bars off.
straw man. Hold on, Chef.
All right,
Straw
I'm
man in me.
sorry. Let me get this
Chef,
off.
you straw man in me, bro. Hold
You're
on,
not
wait a
saying
minute.
that.
Just cut me
My
off,
bad.
though. Go
Chris
ahead,
not
man.
saying that.
Don't
Chris
straw
not
man me,
saying
though.
that. I'm not.
Okay.
Chris, you're not saying that. I'm saying this is my point. The most successful group of Africans, I keep saying this, this is the biggest migration in the history of mankind, the Bantu expansion. I'm saying these niggas was moving. The largest migration in the history of mankind is the Bantu expansion. So niggas wasn't sitting still. Niggas was moving. Niggas took over all of fucking Africa. Y'all crazy. Stop this. I'm going back on.
Okay, yeah, I get what you're trying to say, even though it wasn't the largest migration in history. I get
It
what
was.
you're
It
getting
was.
to.
It was.
Okay. Okay. I don't know where you're
Well,
getting that
which
from,
one
but it's
was? Which one was? If that wasn't
the
what? If that
partition
wasn't
of
it, which
India,
one was?
the partition of India in 1947, and then after that comes China's urbanization. Then after
Yo,
that is the
that don't
transatlantic
even make
slave trade,
sense. Listen
and
to
then
what you
I'm
just said.
I'm
You know
I'm
what?
reading you.
That was crazy.
I'm reading you.
I
That
told
I'm
you I
not
was
he
telling.
gonna get
said.
flooded. I knew I was
reading
gonna get
the
flooded out.
information.
He
Yeah,
said the partition.
I'm reading the information, sir. I googled it like you said to do. So the largest mass migrations in history is the partition of India in 1947, which was 18 million people. I'm sorry. I'm reading some of the largest mass. China's urbanization was since 1978, the move of over 200
Bro,
million
we're not
people.
talking about modern time. We're
Transatlantic
talking about
slave
ancient
trade.
migration. We're talking
Okay,
about
that wasn't
ancient
specified. That's not what was said. What was said was it was the largest
Bro,
mass
really?
migration. So
The whole
therefore, I looked it up.
conversation, this whole
I looked up what
conversation, you
was
gonna
just
tell me
said.
that
It
wasn't
wasn't.
specified?
It wasn't specified just now, especially the largest. That's why I just said I understand
I
what
ain't
he's trying
mad
to
at that. I
say,
can't be mad
but
at that.
technically, it's not
Yeah,
the
let
largest
let
migration.
him get technical. My point is my point. If
So
if
I got
he
that.
using, if it's not the largest migration, man, you know what?
Why do y'all do this to yourself, bro?
You right, Fatty. I see it, Fatty. I see it.
I understand that maybe you were speaking from the hip. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I kind of get what you were trying to say, but just to be specific, like I said, in order not to cause confusion, I didn't want it to make it like that word, like the Bantu migration was the largest migration in history. It wasn't. So I just wanted to make that clear.
I'm standing on that.
Okay, well, I'm willing to take whatever information you like to provide in order to
A
make that.
partition is you know what a partition is.
I don't understand. Like all I know is that when you ask for the largest migration in the history of the world, when you type that into Google, partition of India, China's urbanization, transatlantic slave trade, Italian diaspora, great migration of African Americans, recent Syrian refugee crisis, the Lunar New Year migration in China. Those are the
That
things that
still
come up.
doesn't undermine. That still doesn't like take away his overall point. Is that within the continent of
Then
Africa, the Bantu expansion was very vast,
I
and
understand
in
that.
that process, hold on. In that process, they colonized hunter gatherers, forced implemented their way of life on them. So I just trip off the fact I never hear people talk about that. They always talk about the colonizer from an outside of Africa perspective, but in reality, we did the same shit. When any group has the power or better technology to implement their ideas on other people, they're going to. So when you talk about the Bantu expansion, if you understand how large and vast that expansion really was, which started in like Nigeria and Cameroon, and
I'm
niggas
looking at
ended up in Southern Africa, East Africa. So that was a huge expansion, bro.
it. It was. I'm looking at it, and like I said, it vastly consisted of the southern half of Africa. So
Yeah.
that's and it actually helps to prove my point is that they were only one tribe.
You know there
So
was a
if you think
natural
about the
barrier. You
several
know there
other,
was
There
a
was only
natural
there was
barrier
only
in
one
Africa.
tribe. No.
Can I finish?
It was how
Can I
many
finish?
ethnic groups are made up
Can I
of
finish?
Bantu groups that
Can
created their
I finish?
own language.
Can I finish? If I
Oh,
can finish.
I
Okay,
mean, y'all
yeah,
been talking
thank you.
for a minute,
I
so
just
I
wanted to
can't get
finish
2
what I was
seconds.
saying, then I'll mute right after I finish. So Bantu was just one group of people. We're also not considering the vast other groups of people that were also migrating. That's why I say if you want to talk about just the Bantu, it explains a whole lot. They were going from east to west, from west to east to south to west to east to south to central to west to east. They were going back and forth all over the southern half of Africa. But that's just one group. The many other groups who probably would have been in competition with the Bantu expansion would have also been moving in order to get away from the Bantu if they were fighting with them. So therefore, that shows you that many different tribes would have been moving all over Africa, even into the Sahara, even above the Sahara. You would see Black Africans, just like you see today. You still see them today. Black
Can you give
Bantu
an
ain't a
example of these
tribe.
other groups?
Bantu
Can you
ain't a
give an
tribe,
example of
though.
which groups you talking about outside of Niger Congo speaking people? Because you got to like be able to categorize and distinct ancestral groups. I agree with you. There was other groups, but you can't like have a gaps in that and say it was other groups and they were black too. Nah, you got to be able to identify which groups you talking about, what area of Africa you talk about, what language they spoke, what
The
ancestral group they
Fulani,
belong.
the
Hold on. Let me
Songhai,
hold on. I'll let you finish, bro. I'll let you
because I
finish.
just got through. I'm naming them for you. You said I have
Hold
to
on,
do
I'm
it, so
saying
I
let me
named you
finish
some
my
of the other
point.
people.
Let me finish my point
Okay,
though.
go
Let me
ahead.
finish my point. I'm saying like, is your undertone as to bringing all of this up? Because I'm late in the conversation. Are y'all bringing all of this up to have a premise of there were black, whatever, North Africans outside of North Niger Congo speaking people? I'm just asking. I don't know. Like, what is your underlying reason or motivation for you having this conversation?
Okay, the conversation is that some people on here, I don't remember exactly everybody. I don't want to, start naming people and be naming them falsely, but some people are saying that Black Africans only stayed basically in one region or in one portion of Africa as a continent. My argument is that Black Africans
I
were
don't think
all
not
over
one
the
person on
continent.
here said that, though. I don't think one person on this panel ever said that.
Wait a second.
Not one.
Are you the guy who just said you were new up here?
No, that's Corey. That's Corey. That was me. That was Corey.
Okay.
You're talking to Fetty.
Okay, so who just got through saying that black people? Because I made the argument that black people had the ability to go everywhere in Africa. That's been my argument from the beginning.
But historically, Black Africans were considered Niger Congo and Nilo-Saharan speakers, though. That's stable. So it's like that's kind of oxymoronic.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You coming into the argument with a
Okay,
whole totally
go
different
ahead.
argument than what's being made.
Because
I'm not disputing what
No, he's not.
language they
No, he's
spoke
not.
or they
He's
speak
saying
in
exactly
certain.
what we saying. No, he's saying exactly what we were saying. Don't try to act. Don't confuse that, brother. You
I'm not
on point,
confusing
Fetty.
anything. So what part of what I just said was not my point? What part of what I just said that black Africans
You tried to make it seem like he wasn't on the right path. He is.
Not my point.
He heard this conversation a million times. Fetty, you know what you're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't try to throw nobody else in order to make your point, because you was making the point that we never transversed past the Sub-Sahara. You keep talking. You was running with the whole Sub-Sahara narrative. And when we showed you that black Africans were all through the Sahara and above the Sahara prior to its political stance, then you backtrack.
No, I didn't. Fetty, tell him that you know what the fuck. Go ahead.
We had this conversation. We had this conversation a lot before, dealing with what is considered a Black African historically, which experts was constituting who was Negroid or Black. So when you look at those descriptors, you have to create like distinctions just based off that. Like that's why certain people, when you look at things like Black Africa, that's synonymous with Sub-Saharan, Niger Congo, and Nilo-Saharan people that doesn't have Eurasian ancestry. That's like the distinctions that they make. So. And those groups never left out. Like a lot of North African groups left out, came back and shit like that. So that's like a distinction you can make between a North African and a Sub-Saharan by looking at their genetic profile or whatever. But yeah, to say that Black Africans, the fact that you classifying Black Africans outside of those descriptors is kind of oxymoronic. That's all I said. That's the only point I was making.
I didn't classify Black Africans outside of any.
No, because hear me out, because you're saying that you're saying that to act like Black Africans didn't I guess populate Africa outside of sub-Saharan Africa. I'm saying you would have to create boundaries, distinctions based off ancestral groups, and you would see that those groups kind of was not isolated, but they had particular biomes and environments that was more advantageous to them, and they didn't need to go to other places to do all that. What the fuck they need to do that for?
Well, that contradicts what you said earlier by bringing up the Bantu migration, because the Bantu migration was from east to west
Again,
to
that's why I
south
brought up
to
biomes,
central.
bro.
So
That's why
therefore,
I brought up biomes. That was their method in knocking down forests. They used the hunter gatherers, the pygmies, and shit like that to use them as a way to go into those environments to create what they need based off agriculture, bro.
got you. But if they were isolated, how were they able to go from here to there and everywhere?
I'm saying the isolated part dealing with Northern Africa, because even in the papers dealing with genetics, they tell you, like in the Green Sahara paper, oh, we would have thought that Niger Congo descended people was all through the Green Sahara in certain places, but they show even then during the Green Sahara that it was groups that was, kind of stayed in certain areas that wasn't into deep North Africa. And that's just, I don't see the problem with that. Why are we getting so much like, I'm not saying it's you, but when I hear people saying, oh, Sub-Saharan is a racist term, and, the Bantu expansion never existed, and da-da-da, and it's like, what the fuck? You said Sub-Saharan is a racist term?
It is.
Oh, man. Okay.
Because it's not based on, it's based on the lines drawn by the colonial people that came in and colonized North Africa. Yes, it is.
That's actually
parts of Niger is part of the Sahara. Like I don't get what y'all. It makes no sense.
Man, evolution and biomes.
It's a geographic designation.
Different biomes of Africa, bro. But yeah, whenever I hear somebody say Sub-Saharan is a racist term, it's like, I don't know, bro. Everything is offensive, huh? You got to use some type of descriptor, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying when you use, like, because you use different terminologies. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can say Super Sahara instead of Sub-Saharan if that's more comfortable.
When you say Niger Congo people, like all you really describing is a language terminology. You're
still gonna be talking about the same people, even if you change the term.
You're saying the same group of people. You're talking about Sub-Saharan.
Not all the time, bro. Like you're not always talking about the same people when you only using a language family in order to describe people.
Every single time, every time you're talking about Niger Congo people, I don't give a fuck what time it is. You're talking about Sub-Saharan. Niger Congo people. You're talking about Sub-Saharan people.
Yep.
So how do you have like how would you prefer that they actually do that?
Kristen ran y'all into the wrong room. I'm gonna just say that. Y'all ain't gonna get that.
Stop it, Chef.
Y'all ain't gonna get that shit off
Chef,
over
because
here.
you done been slapped around this entire time in here. You done moved positions like 12 times since we've been talking.
Y'all ain't gonna get that shit off over here. You hear
Let it out. Let it out.
Let it out. You take this beat.
I'm starting to notice exactly what you like to do, and you like to try to turn it into a genetics argument, and then you like to it's too much dribbling around. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got your hot sauce on when it comes to using terminology as if y'all talking to people who don't understand a lot of the terminology that y'all using and understand the misdirection that you're using by using certain terminologies. Saying Sub-Saharan people isolates Black Africans to below the Sahara. And we've already proven that the majority of the countries that are above the Sahara Desert were still included Black African people. And when we bring that up,
but see, I never thought we were talking to somebody who didn't understand.
When we bring up the fact that North Africa was described as North Africa, is only described that because of colonizers, the European, Eurasian colonizers that came into Africa. I don't understand how that's wrong on any circumstances.
North
North Africa,
what would you call our specific? What would you call our specific?
What would I call what?
what would you call our specific ancestral population? What would you refer to it as?
Our specific ancestral population. What do you mean by ours? Like
That shit
me and
fucked them
you?
up, Corey. That shit
Or
fucked
at
them
least
up.
I know you're unique.
It's
You're
not fucking
unique.
me up.
You're
I'm trying to
unique.
get an
What
understanding of
about
what you're trying to say.
no. Yeah, because he different. He a little bit unique. So I'm gonna say the majority of the people on the panel, what would we call their ancestral population? Because Subsaharan
I don't know
is
what
not
I
a
don't.
good term to
But you
call
would
it.
have to show me.
West
You would have
African.
to show me everyone. You would have to show me everyone else is on the panel.
We're
DNA.
majority. We're 89% from
All of y'all. Everybody on here got the same
yeah.
genetic makeup.
The vast majority of us are 89% Niger Congo.
Yep.
Why 89% Niger? Hold on, wait.
We descend from
Niger
Niger.
The vast
and
majority of
Congo
us
are two
are.
different places. You're
Vast
talking about a language base. Stop saying Niger Congo.
Bro, it's not just a
You don't want
language
me to
base.
use
We
Give
talk
me
about
some
Sub-Saharan.
research
You
culture,
don't want me to
because
genetics.
use the name
These are
Niger
all
Sub-Saharan.
is in
interdisciplinary,
one
bro.
place.
It's
The
all
Congo is in
interdisciplinary.
another
Well,
I'm
place.
I'll
So
word
isolating
when
it,
you
it.
bro.
saying Niger
I'll word
Congo,
it
you're only
different.
talking to
I'll
me about
word it
a
different.
language
No,
base.
you're not, because you can find genetic articles tying genetics, archaeology, and language families in
Type
all one
in
thing,
Niger
bro.
Congo people. The
Oh my
Niger
God,
Congo
bro. Yeah,
language
I give up.
family and
I
the
give
people
Okay,
up.
who
well,
Yeah, you
speak these
got him,
language
Corey. You got
words
him with that
believed to
question,
have
bro. You got him with
originated
that
in West
question.
C-Dot.
He
Africa,
don't
Hey,
understand the
likely near the
phylogenetic
western
tree,
part
bro.
of the
don't
There
get
ain't
East
no
into it. Don't
Sahara
get into
region
it.
around 11,000 to
Get into it.
10,000 years before the present. This area includes
Hold
parts
on,
of the
Fatty.
Sahel
Hold on,
and
cause
Southern Sahara. The spread of Niger Congo languages is thought to be linked to the spread of agriculture and the bow and arrow by migrating hunter-gatherers. I'm looking at what Niger Congo means when you keep using it as a
Yeah,
terminology.
you
You're
microwave
talking
learning, bro.
about
I'm not
language
listening to that.
base.
You
You're not
microwave
talking
it's a
learning
about
and
language
you shooting at
family.
region.
the hip.
So let's
You
talk
shooting
about
at the hip
It
with a
is a
point
language
device, bro.
let's
family.
go,
It is a
because when you
language
talk
family.
about Congo, you would also have to consider that Central Africa. I have part Central African
Right.
DNA.
That's what I'm saying. We West
We
and
said
Central Africa.
Western
That's basically
Central
what I'm
Africa.
saying. We're
How many times I said
that's basically
Western
what I'm
Central Africa?
Can
I gave
anybody
that
can
region.
y'all provide can y'all at least provide y'all DNA? Because I can
Crazy,
provide
yo.
mine. I'll show you where I'm from all over Africa.
We're
So
saying, bro, we're
y'all
not
show me
saying that
y'all. I know
autosomally
Chris.
you
I've
don't have
seen Chris's
DNA from
DNA
Congo,
before,
bro. We're
and
saying
Chris
that those
doesn't have the
Congolese
exact
I can
same
people
share
DNA
mine
that I
right
have.
now.
were West
I
Africans, bro.
can share mine right now for you,
So
bro.
it's kind of
I can share my
ridiculous to sit
genetic
up here and
makeup
say
right
that.
now.
So everybody else on this panel has the same genetic makeup. That's kind of weird to
No,
me.
I didn't
And it's
say they
mostly
Nobody,
had
on
the
Niger.
same. I'm
nobody
saying
made
the
that
vast
claim, bro.
majority.
Nobody made that claim, bro. But if you look at
He
just
just
shit like
said 89. He said
no,
everybody up here is
no,
89%
no. We
Niger Congo. That's what he just said.
African Americans, 50% as a whole, predominantly come from the Nigerian area. Even though we may got a little bit of Senegal, Angola. Like, look, go on Wikipedia. Like, they even say every African American has at least one Igbo ancestor. So it's like when you look at the genome.
But that's what I'm saying. But
let
you
me
can't sit up
finish,
here and
bro.
just say that everybody has the exact same amount. That's the point I'm making.
I got
Y'all
you.
went down a different hole.
I got you. But I'm saying
I
when you
was
look at
asking
the
a
genetic
specific
profiles.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was asking a specific question. Now I use Niger Congo just because I knew you wasn't comfortable with Sub-Saharan Africa. But I want to keep everything simple. I'm not trying to do a gotcha or no shit like that. So what I'm gonna ask the question.
Which DNA test labels you as Niger Congo?
I'm gonna answer that as soon as I get to my question, right?
Because I took
so my
Ancestry,
question
and
is,
mine didn't come up as Niger Congo wasn't an option.
Fine, I ain't mad at you. You unique. I told you that you unique already, right?
No, it's not about being unique. It's about the description that they used in order to talk about what parts of your ancestry is coming from. They're not gonna just say Niger Congo. They're gonna give you description.
Absolutely
Benin,
not.
Togo.
Yes.
A lot of my percentage is from Benin and Togo.
Yes, they do.
I got a lot.
They are.
So that's what I'm saying. No terminology is saying Niger Congo,
bro.
because it's the
I can't even
language.
get this question out.
He just said the majority of his shit is Benin and Togo. That's Niger Congo, bro.
That's not. I'm from the Bight of Benin. I claim that, bro. That's my claim to fame. Bight of Benin, bro.
See, you see how y'all keep stumbling over the fact that y'all keep using a language category in order to describe a region.
It's interchangeable. Do you understand?
And what I keep saying is that just because you're saying Niger Congo,
Because I could say something different though, bro. That's what I'm trying to get to you, bro. I don't have to use that. I could just say because I thought you was uncomfortable with sub-Saharan, but I'm just gonna use sub-Saharan. So what I'm saying is, since you're uncomfortable with since you're good with me using sub-Saharan, I'm gonna ask the question a different way. Then I'm saying those sub-Saharan African groups, those sub-Saharan African ancestral populations, right? If we don't want to use sub-Saharan, how would we refer to them? How would you refer to them?
Right.
Oh, is he gone? Or?
You're gonna have to make a classification that distincts them from other groups of Africans, bro. It's no way around it, bro. You can call it sub-Saharan, Niger. You're gonna have to draw a line.
You still gonna be talking about the same people.
All right.
I think he probably in a bad area or something. His phone went out or whatever. But I'm honest questions. I'm not trying to find a gotcha or at least can find a common ground and say, okay, well, we agree there. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of my point.
You don't agree that you don't agree that the term can be politicized? You don't agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I don't like beyond that. I'm not really sure like where the argument is because I think everybody agrees with that. That the term, has been politicized and weaponized. I think that's just
You just got certain brothers who be in here that be saying, "Oh, sub-Saharan is racist, it's offensive," and that's why I ask, what is the motivation behind a person saying that? And every time I ask, it falls under the realm of we want to claim a group that ain't ours or claim a region that we don't. But it's always the root of that. So that's
right.
What I mean,
I totally agree, and the fact that we are, I don't know, a couple hours into this conversation and we have not gotten there yet. I always be wondering why. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is it taking so long for you to just say that shit? Just say you don't trust them, or just say, you know what I'm saying? Just say you don't like them, or whatever it is. We could talk about that instead of trying to couch this argument in science. Like, for what?
yeah, niggas will spin you for 4 hours in the conversation and don't even tell you their true intentions or even why they having the conversation. Shit crazy.
Yeah, I actually hate that.
Who did that?
Black Egypt. It's Black Egypt.
Oh, okay. I thought y'all. Okay, he's Black Egypt.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, my bad. See that? I don't think we had a conversation before, but we've had numerous people in this voice chat over the past couple of months. Echo the same sentiments, and it's all rooted in some form dealing with Black Egypt or wanting to claim an area or group of people that's not ours or doesn't belong to us. I mean, I'm not saying you're doing that. I never had a convo with you, but that's my.
No, I feel where you're coming from because I do like I had a conversation with I forget the brother's name, but I had a conversation with him about that because I didn't understand this whole Egyptomaniac talk, and I thought it was based on people that was actually just studying Egypt. You know what I'm saying? It was getting a better understanding. But then I started to realize that Egyptomaniacs do exist, as you know what I mean. Like they are out there where they take it beyond, and everything Egypt was black. So I'm not under that impression. I'm not one of the people that come here and just tell you everything about Egypt was black. I know that the Ptolemies were Romans. I know about I know about Alexander coming in, and what I'm saying, and the steps he made through Egypt and all of that region and area. So I wouldn't make the argument that all of Egypt was black. I would never make that argument. But what I would contest that, what I'm saying, the origins, as we always talk about, the origins of Egypt and, that area or that region in general was black. I think all of my determination and my belief about Africa is that it was that's where black people were. You know what I'm saying? And when the Europeans and the Asians came in, they carved out their portion. They also carved out who would control other parts of the continent. So that's where I come from with it. I'm not under the impression that everything or all of my people
And now,
came from Egypt specifically. No, I got Ethiopian DNA, you know what I'm saying? But I don't have any Egyptian per se DNA in myself personally. But like I said, that's
So
not to
so
say
you're
that
saying in
there
the
weren't black
story
people there.
of you think Sub-Saharan, I just want to get clear. So you're saying Sub-Saharan is kind of throws you off because that terminology in your perspective limits our true imprint
Exactly.
on the entire continent.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. That limits us to just being in the southern portion of Africa when over time and over history, we've been all over Africa. Everywhere in Africa. We've been in parts of Asia and Europe. So why would we feel like that we have been
Who
well, I
was
mean,
us?
we had not I'm not saying that we originated there. I'm saying that
Oh,
black
okay.
people, black Africans have been in parts of Europe and also parts of Asia. I'm not saying that we originated there or we was there and controlled any none of that. I'm not making any of those arguments. What I'm saying
So
is that
how do your
we've transferred.
thoughts
Go ahead.
how do your thoughts about because you said that you have trouble with the origins, right? So you remember when you read that the Egyptians, that the modern Egyptians, they have a higher percentage of sub-Saharan African than the ancient Egyptians. How
Mhm.
does that rest with what you're saying?
I mean, like I said, it's theoretically based, and it's also dealing with only certain mummies. So
Okay,
that's why I said it would take a
you
deeper
don't
dive.
believe it. So
No,
bottom line,
it's
you
not
don't
that I
believe
don't
that.
believe it. Yeah, hold on, wait. It's not that I don't believe it. It's that I haven't taken that deeper of a dive into it to actually understand everything that they're talking about. Because I still have to
Okay.
study up. So
Okay.
so once I understand
What you
exactly everything that they're talking about, then I can actually make a determination. Because DNA is not something that I try to just gloss over and think that I understand in totality. Not being a
No,
biologist.
I got you. So I'm hearing what you're saying. So I think what you're saying that's different from what I would say the consensus is saying is, even though those people have, that large component of Western Asian DNA, they still consider them indigenous Africans. Like they don't
I don't.
remove the fact that they don't remove the fact that they're African. So you would almost be arguing that when they say African, that they don't mean African. That's basically what you would be arguing.
No, it's not. It's not because, like I said, I'm usually pretty direct and distinct with what I say when I say Black Africans, and that's the reason why I say Black African because I understand that just because you're
Oh, so
born, I mean,
so
all it takes
you're
for
the
you to be
one that's
born in a
actually
place and
doing
you
the
still.
limiting part then, because you're the one
I'm not.
saying that it is limited to only this Black African thing, rather than it just being something indigenous to the continent. You're the one putting the restrictions.
What?
You're putting more restrictions on it than they are.
I don't understand
They're
what
at
that
least
makes
willing
no
to
sense.
accept that there is a East Asia or West Asian component to the North African genetics. They would say it just like that, right? They're not going to say that. They're not going to say that those are Western Asianers who moved into Africa. They call them Africans.
Well, they actually do. That's how you describe where they came from. They talk about the genetic makeups and where those parts of the genetics would have came from. They actually dispute and debate those
Okay,
type of things of where they
cool.
might have came from and
So
what point in time they came from.
you just disputed like a valid point there. I'm saying they actually they acknowledge the Western Asian component and they
Uh-huh.
call them Africans.
Right. They
Like they
also
don't call
call.
them Eastern
They
Asians who
also.
moved into Africa. They say that there's a Western Asian component to the
Who
North
says that? Who
African.
says that? Who says that? Who said that? Who says it? Because you keep saying they and not being specific. Who is they? Who is they say
Science,
that?
science.
Science
Matt,
in
you
what
read
way?
it. You actually read it yourself. You don't remember when you
Gotcha.
read it?
Listen, brother, are South Africaners, I mean Afrikaners, are they Africans, black Africans?
Say that again.
Are South Afrikaners, are they black Africans?
Afrikaners? What's an Afrikaner?
Right. Because they're Africans. Science would describe them as Africans because
You
most of
talking
them
about
now
science
were born on
land
the
in South
continent of
Africa?
Africa. In
Talking about
South
the white
Africa,
folks.
their
You talking about
lineage
white
comes
people born
from
in
black
Africa?
people. Correct.
No, yeah,
They're Africans, right?
like Elon Musk people though.
Right. They're Africans. But that's why I put the distinction into Black Africans, which are the people who were already on the continent of Africa.
So,
Other
so
people
you
that I
think that,
described
so some
that are
kind of
not
way
Black
you think that
Africans came
science
into Africa at
would
some point
lump
in time.
Elon Musk into indigenous Africans? They would look at his genes and be
No.
like, "This an African." That what you trying to say?
Oh, I
I
don't
mean,
know
because that's
why.
how you're categorizing it. You're saying, well, since he's South
No,
African,
bro, you
African.
confusing this, bro. You confusing this in order to
I'm
try to
not.
make a weird point that I
No,
don't
I know I'm
understand.
not. I'm just saying
Because
like
I'm
that.
very,
That would
very
sound. That sounds. I mean, to be honest with you, that just sounds like an extreme example. Like you're gonna use like an obvious non-African. Of course nobody's gonna say that this man, his family migrated from wherever they at in Africa
okay.
10,000 years ago. Ain't nobody gonna say that.
Got you. Are the people of North Africa Black Africans?
I get by and large no.
Okay. Do the politics of North Africa tie themselves into the Arab culture?
I believe so. I believe to a large degree, yes.
Okay, so they literally have an Arab Union. Okay, so do the religion of North Africa, does that go into Arab culture or does that go into African culture?
So you're talking about culture.
Right, when we talk about the control of everything
That's
up
Arab.
when they're establishing when they're establishing this when they're establishing this West Asian component to North Africans, they're talking about their genes. They're not talking about the culture that they currently using and all that stuff.
Got you. That's what I'm talking about right now. I'm asking you
right,
about
you'd be changing the conversation
and why it is what it is. That's what I'm talking
we
about.
We all know where the culture comes from. So why would that even be in
so if the culture comes from
we're talking about the people,
outside
the
of Africa,
population,
then why do we automatically label those people as Africans if the entire culture comes from out of Africa?
The culture does, not the people. Not the people, the culture.
People. You're talking about the culture. I'm talking about the population.
Got you. The people
adopt culture. You know, people adopt culture.
Would you consider Muammar Gaddafi as a Black African?
No.
I mean, are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? What I'm saying is there's a difference between the population conversation and
Muammar Gaddafi was part of the population of North Africa. Would you consider him a Black African?
No.
What would you consider him?
All Africans ain't Black.
I never said they were.
He's just a North African.
So when I say Black Africans, I'm being very distinct. Am I right or am I wrong? We know exactly who I'm talking about when I describe Black
Most of the time, you should be talking about Sub-Saharan Africans. Most of the time.
Right. You're doing what you claim the scientists are doing.
And we also understand that there's a unique difference in between the two. We understand that there's a difference between Black Africans, and we also have an Arab African, and then we also have a European.
Arabized.
So no, Arab. They're actually Arab.
No, they're not.
Like they come from Arab people. Okay, so
adopted an Arab culture.
Gaddafi, was he an Arab or was he a Black African?
He was Arabized, and no, he wasn't Black African.
So are you considering him a Black African?
No, just because he wasn't Arabized doesn't mean he was not. Just because he wasn't Arabized, right, don't mean he's Black African. Right? Yeah. It's not a dichotomy. It's not either you Arabized or you Black African.
Does his heritage come from Arab countries?
His heritage comes from Africa.
Countries?
His heritage comes
from heritage came from African okay.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Who was that said that?
Corey.
Okay. All right, no problem.
So basically, you saying his genes is African, right, Corey? His culture might
basically, that's what I'm saying. His culture ain't African, but his genes, his ancestral population is from right there where he at.
Yeah, I'm struggling to see where what part of that is confusion. You see that? That seems pretty cut and dry.
Oh. Nah, Corey's correct.
Okay.
And I wanted to say, because I was breaking up, right? I was breaking up a little bit, or y'all probably didn't even hear me because I was in such a bad area. But I wanted to say because I heard C Dot saying like where he came from. He was mentioning he was talking about what you call it Egyptomanias, right? Egyptomaniacs, right? And 'cause he was saying, and then after he was saying talking about that, it led into him saying that he comes from a place where when you mention Africa, right, you just automatically think black people, right? Africa is black. This is what, and what I wanted to say to him, if we all on this panel, if we're all honest, we all it was in that same position. Some of us are still there, but some of us come from that. We all at least come from that position, right? At least I do. I'm speaking for myself. I'm gonna be honest because I don't know. We having a problem with honesty here, but
Yep.
I'm gonna be
Sure.
honest and say that I was there in that same position. When you say Africa, immediately what used to go through my head is a nigga that looked just like me. Immediately, that's what I thought, right? But over time, you understand a little bit better, and you understand that that was not a correct position to have. That's all I wanted to say.
All right. Now, Muammar Gaddafi was born near Qasr Abu Hadi, a rural area outside the town of Sirte, in the deserts of Tripolitania, Italian Western Libya. His family came from a small, relatively influential tribe called the Qadhafa, who were Arab in heritage. That's from Wikipedia.
Okay, well, I was wrong then. His heritage ain't.
I'm glad
I
you, as
was
long as
thinking.
you
I
were
was
able
under
to
the
admit
impression
that.
that when you say heritage, you mean his ancestors, his ancestral population. That's kind of what I thought. But
Okay. Well, like I said, a lot
when
of
I'm
people
wrong,
that
I
are
was
in
wrong.
North Africa right now are
Mhm.
Arab in heritage and lineage. They are Arab people. That's why they have a whole Arab movement. It's literally Arab politics in North Africa. So I don't
So you
like
saying that most of
when
the
you
people
start
in
talking to
North
me
Africa
about
have the
when you
same
start talking to
heritage
me
as
about North Africa
Umar?
and how they Africans and all this other stuff, you kind of tearing away at what actually is facts. These are Arab people in control of
No,
North
you gave
Africa.
one
This is
example
part of the
though. That's
reasons
not the whole
why they
population.
are separating those parts of Africa. So when you talk to me about geopolitical subjects and you have no clue of who the people are that are in these regions and who have control of these regions, then you're giving a dishonest conversation and you're just going based off of what you think might be. Muammar Gaddafi was an
I
Arab.
will say, in that case, in the case of Muammar Gaddafi, you're absolutely right. I was going off of what I thought. You know what I mean? But that Muammar Gaddafi is not the population. I just assumed, and obviously I was wrong to assume that he was an indigenous North African.
I just read to you guys the populations up there when the other cat came in and tried to say that, oh no, it's the majority, this, that, and the no, it's Arab. The majority of the people there
No,
are Arab.
the people that the majority of people there are they're
And we were
Arab
just
in
talking about
culture.
Egypt. Matter of fact, we were just talking about Egypt and how the majority of the people there were Arab.
So that's what I'm saying. Like they do have an Arab culture. So you be saying like two different things.
No, they're Arab
a little bit.
people. They have an Arab culture because they come from Arab people. What are you saying?
So you're saying that
That's why they have an Arab
the
culture. Because a
general
majority,
population in
a vast
Egypt.
majority of them come from an Arab people.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. The general population comes from Arab people. That's what you're saying?
That's what we just got. That's what we read. As soon as your man said that the majority of it
We read
of Egypt was not Arab, and I read off, yes, they are.
No. So this is what he's confusing, Corey.
No, Chief. Don't jump in. I want clarity here. Now, so what did you read that said that they were majority Arab population? It's not the country, it's their ancestors.
Hold on, give me a second. I'll pull it up again. Let the brother speak while I pull it up.
Go ahead, Chief, as he gonna pull something up. My bad.
So what he's confusing is it's I wouldn't say it in North Africa mainly. It's North African and Arab culture, because the Arabs and North Africans, aka Amazigh, are there. And Amazigh is not a Berber. Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, its main population is Amazighs, not Arab. What he's confusing is the sword of Islam came. So everyone converted to Islam. So they're now Muslims. So he's
Oh my
confusing Islam and being
No,
Muslims
no, I'm not.
with
No, I'm
also
not.
being
No, I'm not.
Arab.
No, I'm not. I'm not confusing it at all.
But
I'm,
let
I'm,
me
I
I'm
let me
don't
actually
think
finish.
he's.
talking
I
Let
about
me
don't
finish.
think
peace.
that's
I'm not
actually what he
talking about
means, though,
Islam.
Let me
Chief X.
finish.
Go
Let
ahead.
me finish my sentence. He's just confusing
No, 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 no,
because
no.
they're
Stick to what
Muslim.
you
Hold
talking
on,
about,
hold
Chief
on,
X.
hold on,
Don't say what
hold
I'm
on.
talking about because
Okay, well,
what you're
just correct
saying is
me
not what I'm
afterwards.
talking
I'm just
about.
in one sentence and I'm done. Correct me afterwards. People are confusing because someone is a Muslim and they embrace Islam and they're not a black African. That means they're Arab. This is the confusion.
Here's a
Yeah,
more hold
I
on.
don't
Modern
believe
Egyptians
that
have a
this is the
genetic
case
makeup.
with my man's C dot. I don't believe that C dot is actually doing. Now I know what you're saying, and I can see how you can draw that conclusion, Chief X. Don't get me wrong. Don't. I'm not saying like, oh, that's wild, and you shouldn't even thought about that, right? What I'm saying is I understand how you come to that conclusion, but I don't think that's exactly what my man C dot is actually doing. I think he understands that just because you adopt Islam, um, that don't make you an
That don't
Arab,
make you
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead now. Go ahead, C. Dot.
Now,
You want to
I
add
just have to
something?
read the AI overview when I looked up the genetic makeup of Egypt. Modern Egyptians have a genetic makeup that is a mix of Middle Eastern, European, Eurasian, North African, and East African ancestry. Studies of ancient Egyptian mummies have also revealed genetic links to the Levant and Mesopotamia, indicating gene flow between these regions. Now, modern Egyptians, this is what it says for today. A study using a comprehensive Egyptian genome reference found that modern Egyptians have ancestry components from the Middle East around 27%, which is the highest amount. Okay. Europe, Eurasia around 24%. Okay. Only 15% is North African and only 9% is East African. Okay. So the majority of the genetic makeup of Egypt comes
They
from
don't
the
have
Middle
any
East.
sub-Saharan. The moderns don't have any sub-Saharan African in them.
See, and we keep
Hold
talking
on,
about
what? Read that
what is
again.
I don't see what that's what I'm
Or
saying. Like I don't
black
get
African, or
what are we
I'm
talking about
scratch
sub-Saharan.
that.
Do
Scratch
East
the
Africa?
So he's
sub-Saharan.
saying the
What
Black
about East
African.
majority of
Africa?
North
Is
Africans have
East Africa
more
Black
Middle
African?
Eastern DNA. Did he just
Huh?
say that?
Is East
No,
Africa
because I
considered
want to be. I want to get clear
sub-Saharan?
before we do this a lot. We jumble around and we
Is
go
East
off
Africa
on
considered sub-Saharan? Because
yes, parts of these. Yes.
they don't talk about it in sub-Saharan and modern Egyptians. They only talk about
Okay.
sub-Saharan in reference to ancient Egyptians.
Okay.
So I just
Okay.
brought up
All right.
they talk about the Middle East, North Africa, the Middle East, Europe, Eurasia, North Africa, and East Africa.
East Africa is considered sub-Saharan, but I the point is I wanted to know. So now you got the modern Egyptians genetics, right? What about the ancient Egyptians genetics? Because if the ancient
Okay.
Egyptians and the modern Egyptians have similar DNA, right? That would tell you that these people always been there. They've always been mixing and matching with
The
those
next
Western Asians
the
since
next thing that
time
pops up.
immemorial.
Okay, I want to be fair. So the next thing that
Okay.
pops up, because this is the same thing that I read last time, except I read the entire description, and that's when we got all the way down to the sub-Saharan African ancestry part. That's when y'all was like, "Hold on, right there, stop right there." See,
I remember that. I
so
remember that.
okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm going back up because I just read modern Egyptians. The 4 categories they have are modern Egyptian, ancient Egyptians, influence from Mesopotamia, and sub-Saharan African ancestry. Okay, so the first one is the one I just read, modern Egyptians. Now I'm gonna read ancient Egyptians. Research on ancient Egyptian mummies has shown that they had close genetic relationships with ancient and modern Near Eastern populations, with some showing evidence of sub-Saharan African ancestry. That's when the word sub-Saharan breaks into there. It's when we start talking about
So
ancient Egypt.
basically, they have the same basic genetic makeup. Only the modern Egyptians have a little bit more sub-Saharan genetics in them, right?
Well, no, not
No,
well.
Corey's 100% correct on that. Don't even play this game. This is
Well,
crazy.
no, I'm reading it. Like I'm not making this up. You
I
acting
think
like
he's
I'm
trying to
giving you
be
my
honest.
opinion. I'm being very honest.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
but
think
now
he's trying to be honest.
influence from Mesopotamia. A recent study analyzing the genome of an ancient Egyptian individual from the Old Kingdom period, around 4,500 to 4,900 years ago, revealed a significant genetic link to Mesopotamia, specifically the area between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This finding aligns with
Western Asia.
historical evidence of trade and cultural exchange between the two regions. Okay,
So
that was the
overall,
point.
basically, so the what I'm getting right, like you have a little bit of difference between the ancients and the moderns, right? But overall, it's what it's saying is these is pretty much the same people.
same motherfuckers, bro. Same niggas.
Yeah, it's
My bad.
actually, if anything, the modern niggas, right, got more nigga in them than they ancient ancestors
Yeah,
anyway.
at about 8%
So
higher than the Asians.
yeah,
Okay. Would y'all want me to read the last one, or are we good? It's Sub-Saharan African ancestry.
okay.
And it says, studies suggest that the proportion of Sub-Saharan African ancestry in modern Egyptians may be higher than in ancient Egyptians, indicating
Yep.
gene flow into Egypt over the past 2,000 years. This could be due to factors like increased trade, mobility along the Nile, and the trans-Saharan slave trade.
It's just like what I said about Wodi Meyer, right? So
Yep,
the
that's
fact
right.
that Wodi
What
Meyer,
you just read was right.
the fact that Wodi Meyer has a Ethiopian wife, right, is due to mobility. You understand? You see
But
what I'm saying?
I also want to point out the fact that this doesn't say that no so-called quote unquote sub-Saharan ancestry was in was in ancient Egypt. It's
I
not
don't think
making that
anybody said that.
clarification. So I just wanted to make sure that we have an understanding of what I said earlier about Black Africans being all over the continent at one point or another. We've always
I think we all
been all
agreed to
around
that.
the continent. Okay,
I think we all agreed to that, right?
no problem.
And I don't think we were saying that the ancient Egyptians never had any Black African in them, right? So I just what I'm getting out of what you're reading though, brother, is that basically the people that's there, the ones that you calling Arabs, right? They've been there since ancient time. As a matter of fact, they more nigga than they ancient ancestors is.
I don't know about all that.
They
They
more
have been there
nigga than
for a long
they
time.
were Arab than they ancestors was.
I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with that. I would say
That's
that
what you just read.
they're probably
That's what you just read.
that. You literally just read what
Yeah.
Corey
You
just
just
said.
read
Yeah.
that.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't make that I wouldn't make that determination. That's not what I read actually. What I read was that there was gene flow. Studies suggested the proportion of sub-Saharan African ancestry of modern Egyptians may be higher than in
Yeah.
ancient Egyptians. It
Yeah,
doesn't
have
say
you
that
seen
it's
that
not.
exactly what I'm
previously?
saying.
How high it gets? That
But
can get as high as 16,
saying that it's
18,
higher
20%.
does not mean that it was non-existent previously.
No,
So
we're
just
not
because
saying
it was
that. We're
higher,
definitely not
says that.
saying that. We're definitely not saying that.
oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying when you say they more nigga now than they would have been back then. I got you. So my bad.
Right.
Maybe I'm
There you
confusing
go.
what you were
That
saying.
should be a huge contradiction to everything that you
Just
said
want to let you
before.
know. I'm gonna let everybody else
No, it's
go, but
not.
I just
It's
want to
not a
let you know,
contradiction to anything I said before.
See that real quick. I'm gonna go on mute, but I just want to let you know. Anytime you're talking to me, I'm not coming from some scientific, deep conversation. I'm just a construction worker, so it's always gonna be very simple with me. You know what I'm saying? That's why I
I'm a
use the
straight face,
term.
bro.
Yeah.
I'm like I say, I'm not proclaiming that I am a biologist or I've been.
No. I'm just saying because you thought I was being deeper. I think you think I was trying to go somewhere deeper than what I was going, and then when you just simplified it the way that you was like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. But I just want you to know, like, every time I'm talking, it's gonna be just that simple. It ain't gonna never be like way deeper than that. You know what I'm saying? Just to let you know.
I've listened to a lot of y'all streams over there lately, and it's a lot that I disagree with. So I can't like that's why I'm happy to be in this Discord, so we can have some of these conversations. You know what I mean?
The pushback is cool. The pushback is cool.
Niggas up with you though. deep dive on some politics shit, right? I can't wait till we get on that. I think I'm on
Yeah, I definitely want you
Oh, for
around for
sure.
that shit, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, for sure.
I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, for
So
sure.
what I meant when I was like about the contradiction, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a little hard to follow at times. But one of the things that really stuck out to me is when you were talking about how you felt like how a lot of these people would get conquered and the population would become like displaced, right? Like that was, that actually stood out to me because you would have to be able to explain what happened to the indigenous people, right? So now that we done come basically head up to the acknowledgement that the ancient or the modern Egyptians would have more sub-Saharan African in them now than they would have back then. Like it still, even with that uncomfortable truth, that still does not mean that they're not indigenous Africans. You get what I'm saying? So
Well,
so whole time, what it almost is that you may have to put some more elements into what makes up an African, but science actually is doing that because when they describe all of that nuance, they still say that that's an indigenous African.
I mean, I get it, but you also have to look at some of the like some of the key words that I talk about or that I just brought up was like the trans-Saharan slave trade. You know what I'm saying? Like and the relationships between slavery and religion and all of that type of stuff throughout that region for how long it's been throughout that region. Like Mansa Musa was a Muslim, you know what I'm saying, based on, you know what I mean, his adoption to that thought process or that way of life. So, and I believe that it was adopted out of survival. Personally, I think that religion all throughout Africa was adopted based on survival.
I
It
agree
was
with that.
forced on
I
us.
agree with it.
So
I agree with
I
that.
think that,
Yeah,
and I think that
everybody
a
was
lot of the reason why you
that.
don't see
Trade.
as many Black Africans in North Africa is because of the fact that a lot of us were shipped out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us were taken over. You know what I'm saying? In the slave trade, a lot
Nah,
of
that's
us
the
were
Sahara
killed.
Desert they got
A
a
lot
I
of
bunch
us,
of.
disagree with that.
especially
Yeah.
in the, I'm just saying the trans-Saharan slave trade, they made eunuchs out of a lot of Black men. Like they literally cut our dicks off. You know what I'm saying, to make sure we couldn't reproduce.
Yeah,
So that
we
would
get that.
take a whole lot of the people out.
That's
You know
the
what I'm saying,
truth.
that
That's
live in
the
that
truth.
region, especially the people that's
It
going
wasn't
against the
all
new
groups.
powers that are coming in. So that's the points that I'm trying to make with that is that a lot of the population up there in the reason why the politics and the power is so different up there is because of that Arab inclusion like that. Like I said, the North Africa has a Arab alliance. It's a reason for that because Arab
Yeah.
people came in and put they spin on everything there. So they would have had to have put the other people out. They would have had to displace the other people. So of course you had Africans throughout the desert. You had Africans throughout all over Africa. But we have been displaced in certain locations that we've been at. We had people in the Congo being killed by the millions by Leopold. You know what I'm saying? So it's like entire populations of Black people or entire culture,
But
entire
they
tribes
didn't
have
move
been wiped
around
out that
though.
we never knew existed.
Usually the displacement wouldn't. I don't think that would be like the normal occurrence. The normal occurrence would be that they assimilate and probably take on like lesser roles in the society.
Yeah, they just
Yeah,
But they
I think
don't
that's
leave.
possible.
They might become the labor class, but not leave.
Right. Well, I think that's possible in some cases. I don't think that's possible in most cases. I think
I don't
in a
think they
lot
would
of
leave.
cases
That was
people
my
left.
point earlier.
I think a lot of people left, and I think the people that could deal with the new regime stayed, and they adopted and went along with the get along, just like we do here in
I would
America.
say that would be
After
the
slavery
vast
was over
majority.
here, Black people didn't
I
go
would
our
say that was
separate
the
ways.
vast
Most of us
majority though.
stayed here.
Yeah.
But, I
I'm
mean,
saying that would be the vast majority of the population though. When you're talking about Egypt, right? Although the sword of Islam come down on them, right? I think the vast majority of them stayed and just dealt with the regime.
well, I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't because like we have examples of what migration does or immigration does. You can see it in this country with, like I said, at one point the slaves outnumbered the Europeans, but then they had mass migration and they brought several Europeans over here in order to basically dominate the population and become the majority. So
Right.
like that's possible there on, you know what I mean, that it those same type of things happen in North Africa. The people that came in replaced the major parts of the population with Arab people. So of
The
course those
great
Black people
replacement
that was
theory.
left over there either got together with them or they had to go in their own little cut in their corner in order to keep going along with original practices and all that type of stuff. They had to do that on the low. So
yeah, they do it on the low. Yeah, they do have to do that on the low. You're absolutely right with that. It's crazy, see that, because like you say a lot of true things, right? But I think the foundation of them, like your foundation is not solid on it, right? So the fact that you saying they move these people out, like we don't have any evidence supporting that. What we do have is
I'm not saying that they moved them out. I'm saying people left. I'm not saying that
I'm
they
saying
had
the
this mass
overwhelming.
migration.
When I'm talking, I'm not saying like everybody. I'm saying like the overwhelming vast majority. So like look at the population in Egypt today, right?
Mm-hmm.
The overwhelming vast majority of the population look similar, right? And can we agree to that?
I think
they kind of look like Zahi Hawass type looking.
Yeah,
niggas.
the majority of the population are Arab. I'm sticking to that. The majority of the
I'm
population is
not
Arab.
going to say that, but I'm going to say they kind of got the Zahi Hawass type look, basically, right? Can we agree to that?
He's an Arab. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay, fine. So what I'm saying is those type of people that look like Zahi Hawass, we attribute that look, the way that Zahi Hawass looks. Most people attribute that to Arabs, to an Arab look, and I'm a proponent of. I used to say that, like, yo, Arab looking niggas, like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Egyptians look like Arabs, this was a statement of mine, right? But the fact of the matter is, when I actually learned a little bit more, right, I've learned that actually that that the way that Arabs look is more of an North African look.
What?
It's not. The Arabs actually look like North Africans,
but
it's not the other way around.
Are you saying that because like when I hear Chief X bring up the Berbers all the time, like, and I'd be like, well, does he understand that the Berbers were an amalgamation of people also? It weren't just white people or Europeans or whatever. Like they were a whole bunch of different people. Even the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians were sailors. Like they used to conquer the sea. They were sea people. So they used to.
They ran that Mediterranean. They ran the Mediterranean for one. They
So
was like one of the only
people. They were all type of different, like I said, an amalgamation of people that were those people. That's why you have lighter skinned people or whatnot in the third, but they came from other people mixing together.
Yeah,
like
for
all
40,
of the people in North
up
Africa.
to 40. Let me say this too, also, C Dot brother. You understand, and now I didn't understand a lot of this myself, so I just want to qualify that, right? But I want to ask, do you understand that it only takes like 1,000 or 1,500 years for your genetics to start to mutate? So when you're talking about a 40,000 year period, how long would it take for somebody to leave out of Africa, for a group to leave out of Africa, right? Mix in with Eurasians, right? And then come back in, right? To people who've already deviated from the original, because it's people who didn't leave, right? But they still were staying in one place, right? But they had enough time to have genetic mutations also. So these Eurasians that are coming back into Africa, right? They're coming. They've been there. They came back and they've been in North Africa so long. My question is, how long does it take for you to become indigenous? Because we know, I do know one thing. I do know is the Indians came over here, right, to North America, right? They came over here, and it was only 10,000 years ago, right?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
We'll say this. We'll say the consensus is that the Indians came over here 10,000 years ago. Now we classify those Indians. I wouldn't
call it a consensus. I would call it a theory. So the consensus means that everybody or the majority of people agree, and I don't think the majority of people agree. I think that there are
the majority of scientists, the majority of people who are in that field agree with that.
Agree that Native Americans came to Africa.
No, not to Africa, to America. They came from the Bering Strait, right? And down through Alaska and
Got you.
down through
Got you.
California and all
Got
of
you. I
that,
thought you
right?
were saying Africa, so that's why I was like, I don't. What? What are you talking about?
No,
You
no,
talking
I'm
about
saying
the
America.
Egyptian
I'm
thing
saying
where they talk
America.
about cocaine was in the coffins and shit? Like that's what
Yeah,
I
that's
thought you
wild.
were
That's
talking about.
wild.
That's why I
That's
said that's not
wild.
a consensus. But okay, I got you.
I hear you. Yeah, that's wild. That is wild. But yeah. So my point is that we consider those Native Americans indigenous to the Americas, right? So now we go back over to North Africa, and we have these Eurasians that's done back migrated into Africa 40,000 years ago, right? So now, how long? Because we know that the Indians have been here for 10,000 and they indigenous, right? So how long would it take for those Eurasians to become indigenous to Africa?
I'm not sure. I'm not. I wouldn't
That's
I
cool.
wouldn't make that.
I'm cool with that.
I wouldn't.
One thing
Yeah, I wouldn't
about
make
me,
that
bro, if
type
you
of
say
argument.
I'm not sure, I'm fine. I'm not gonna push you no more. I'm fine.
Yeah, that's just it's just not it's not something that I would be able to classify because I'm not sure what determines as indigenous other than being the first people on a certain land. So if they weren't the first people and they actually, or if they like a different people came back than what left, then technically those people that came back